gold chain. That's what I'm doing. DeMar DeRozan with the game-winning three. First of all, let me just say and let me admit, when DeMar was dribbling with the clock down, I'm like, they're going to run out of time. They're going to run out of time. Why is DeMar not penetrating? The fact that on a one-legged three, DeMar DeRozan won the game tonight. Come on, man. This is Bulls basketball. This is Bulls basketball. Yes, they should not have been. The game should not have been that close if the Bulls would have executed. Zach LaVine down the stretch had some mistakes, bounced the ball off his foot a couple of times, but at the end of the day, it's all about getting that victory. And what did our team do tonight? Our team got the goddamn victory. Our team balled out. DeMar, again, coming in the clutch. Get on DeMar DeRozan's MVP run. That's all I got to say with y'all, man. Come on, man. Anybody who's still doubting what these Bulls can do, anyone who's still doubting DeMar DeRozan at this point, everybody got to shut the fuck up, man. This is the type of game you want to see your team win, right? An ugly game, a bad game down the stretch. The Bulls did not play the best. They did not play up to their standards, all of that. But to still, down the stretch, Kobe White hitting a big three. Next man up mentality, whatever it is, this season is the next man up season for the Chicago Bulls. Man, give it up to our team, man. Even before I go into the chat, I know y'all going to be live on this one. The Chicago Bulls did their goddamn thing today, and they did exactly what was needed to be done down the stretch. Thank God for DeMar DeRozan. Zach didn't necessarily have it throughout this game, but the Bulls still found a way to pull it out. That's what you want to see. Zach, 7 for 17. Bad night shooting. Kobe White, 7 for 11. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, only 1 turnover from Kobe White. Come on, man. Anybody still doubting Kobe White? Everybody think that Kobe White's going to be trade bait. Everyone who said Kobe White wouldn't fit on this team. Everyone who was over Kobe White. Y'all got to shut up. Y'all got to eat that at this point, man. Vooch, not the best game in the second half. He played more solid in the first half, but it is what it is. When your team can play this ugly and this bad and still pull out a win, come on, man. Come on, that's all I got to say. I'm going over to the comments. I'm not even finna analyze and break this one down overly too much, man. We finna go have a conversation. DeMar the God DeRozan. That's his fucking name. DeMar the God DeRozan. Give it up for DeMar, man. Give it up for this team, everything. This was a great victory in the senses just to see the DeMar do his thing. A game where everyone was not playing their best. Kobe White kept us in this game. Let's also give it up. I know DeMar's shot, rightfully so, is going to get a lot of the attention, but let's give it up for Kobe White being the steady hand and the steady scorer. He was the most consistent player throughout this game, and he made several good plays on defense as well. Let's make sure we also talk about Kobe White and the game that he had, because I don't want that to go overlooked. Kobe, who was really working himself in gear. Kobe, who this is only his 15th game back. Keep in mind, this is only Kobe White's 15th game back, considering the time he missed with injury, the time he was down with COVID. 15 games for Kobe White to really start. He's strung together 4 really good starts, right? Yes, the first half against Trae Young was pretty bad, but Kobe White overall, in his start so far, has played very, very well for the Chicago Bulls. Very well for the Chicago Bulls. Again, nobody's saying it's the best or anything. He's still only having a less than 8 PER for the season. I want to make sure that I'm saying all of that and being honest with that. But Kobe White, back to shooting just around 40% for the season so far. In field goal, a little bit under 40%, but he's getting back on track, and that's what's good to see from Kobe White, to see games like this from him. I want to make sure that we talk about Kobe White as well, because Kobe White is really coming on. For a lot of those doubters that hated on Kobe and that thought that Kobe needed to go, that Kobe didn't fit on his team. I can't stress enough how when I started this channel, I got so many comments of, where does Kobe fit? Where does Kobe fit? Kobe White is showing you where he fits on this team. Yes, Io is still good. Io still needs minutes as well, but Kobe White is showing you that he deserves a role in this team. All right, enough of me talking. Let's go to the comments. Takizo, yes, sir. He's on MC season. Let's go. Kyle, that was awesome. I'm sorry I was yelling at you guys. I'm amped. I was watching this game with my son, and literally when it came down the stretch and when the Bulls got the ball, I'm like, oh my God. I stood up from my chair. My son stood up too. And then when DeMar was dribbling in, it hits like 2 seconds and he hadn't penetrated or anything yet. I'm just sitting there like, okay, this is probably not going to go well, but you know what? It was an ugly game. When DeMar hit that shot, me and my son let out the loudest yell in excitement that I'm sure 4 houses down heard us. And the police may be on the way to my house right now. So if I come get taken on the stream, that's why. But this was a great game to see. Rory, Bulls is back. Yes, the Bulls are back for sure, for sure. Leon, hey, let's hope not Bulls basketball. This was sloppy. Hey, I mean, you're going to have sloppy games, but if you can still pull out those sloppy games, that's what separates team. That's what separates the team from last year from this team. The Bulls had a sloppy game last season. They weren't winning the game. The Bulls were not coming back to win. They didn't have enough to pull out a sloppy win last season. They're doing that now. Tyrone Hill, bunch of emojis. They come through weird on this app, so I'm sure this is probably not how it looks when you left it, but on this software, they come through weird. Won a game with our C, D minus game. Wow. Yep. This game looks completely different if Lonzo's out there, right? But again, you don't want to give that caveat. We played who we had to play, just like the players just played the players that they had available, but it was good to see. It was good to see. Laxus, man, I thought that was a sell by DeMar, 1-footer game. Listen, man, that was crazy. I thought he was going to try to go the foul because the defender on him looked a little scared. I don't know, was it Holiday? Was like worried about the penetration. You could see it. Whoever, I think it was Holiday guarding him, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could see he was like, all right, DeMar's going to try to get in the middle on us. And he was really playing for the penetration. So the moment that DeMar made that move and could step back on that 1 foot for the three, for what it was worth, it was wide open. But DeMar DeRozan hitting a game winner three, that's not something a lot of people would expect. Smear 60, we are here. My mods, make sure you guys watch the chat today because I'm telling you, there are probably going to be a lot of trolls that turn up today, man. Ben Martin, wow, this team is legit. Thank you, man. Thank you, man, for saying that. Dane McCray, let's go. Bulls balls out. Yeah, hell yeah, go Bulls. G.O., were you here the last couple of days? DeMar, yes, fire, absolutely. Chicago is here. Bruh, DeRozan is cold. He's sick, bro. He's sick. What a game winner. Big-time players make big-time plays. Abso-fucking-lutely. One of the Compton's finest has found home in the Windy City. Let's go. Absolutely. First of all, we need DeMar to stop throwing up gang signs. Y'all see how often DeMar DeRozan throws up gang signs? The NBA is going to get on his ass and find him at some point. DMVP. Hey, man. With performances like that, absolutely. We played so sluggish, but hey, I'll take the W. Absolutely. Saying's LOL. Let's go, bro. Let's go. Capone, emotional roller coaster. Absolutely, bro. That shit was so, because it looked like they had plenty of times, right? They got the lead down to 1, and then they had the possession. It was like, all right, this is probably where they're going to take it over. That didn't happen, but you know what? We got the W. Jeremiah, let's go. Absolutely. We ain't no joke. Go Bulls, go DeMar, the Goatson. All right, I like that. Shay in the building. What's going on, Shay? You see the Bulls in your front yard? Just know we upstairs going hard. Oh God, that's for sure, bro. That is for sure, man. Tyrone Hall. At the end of the year, we are the king of the East. Listen, the Bulls in 2021 were being number 1 team in the East. Just let that sit in for a minute. Of course, we probably won't stay there. I'm being a realist and everything like that. But right now, to end, we can go into this new year drinking, celebrating that our Chicago Bulls are the number 1 team in the East. In the East, man. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Scotty, put some respect on Debo's name, man. Blas in the building. DeMar hit the game winner, but we don't win without Kobe White today. Give this exactly. That's why I definitely wanted to slow down and also talk about Kobe White, because if Kobe White didn't play the way that he played, we are not in this game at all. And let's give shouts out to Kobe White as well. Walter, Kobe is the only one who plays good, and we still listen. Just think about that. Kobe White had the best game tonight overall. DeMar DeRozan's game-winning three aside, he had the best and most consistent game tonight, and we win. You don't say that last year. And for people who think that Kobe White hasn't improved, man, they need to wake the fuck up. That's what they need to do. We're going to Dennis. Kobe White, 6 for 7 from 3. He was clutch. This is the type of performance. Again, not the volume, right? Volume is different. I'm talking about the type of performance, the way in which he performed and the way in which he shot at. This is why Kobe can make this bench so dangerous. Just imagine if we have this version of Kobe, because we haven't had this version of Kobe playing with, as well as Vooch's improvement, Lonzo starting, Caruso out there as well, Kobe coming more off the ball. What Kobe is showing, right, is that now, as much as I've been saying, and I've been a big, even in my Kobe White support, is that you need to get Kobe off the ball. Kobe needs to play off the ball. He needs to come off screens, pin downs, things like that. Kobe is now showing, hey, maybe that is my most dangerous skill, but you can trust me with putting the balls in my hand as well. Kobe's confidence is building, and a confident Kobe White coming off the bench is going to be dangerous for the league. My brothers, let me tell you, and sisters, because I know we have sisters in here as well. Let's fucking go Bulls, bringing in the new year right. You know DeMar is going, well, they got a game tomorrow. but they're celebrating tonight. If the Bulls come out flat tomorrow, if they come out and they drop a goose egg against the Wizards tomorrow, you know it's because on top of New Year's, on top of this win, the Bulls may be out there doing their thing, man. Maybe out there doing it. Laxus, by the way, your voice, you just come out of it. Listen, man, hey, I have a genuine love for the Chicago Bulls. All jokes aside, my life, God, family, the Chicago Bulls, even when the Bulls were bad. So to see this team that I literally have supported all 35 of my years on this planet, to see them doing good, this good, is exciting, man. I was the same way the first Tibbs year and the year that the Bulls were the top team in the East. This is the feeling that we've regained. Again, the last three-peat era was like I was still a kid, right? So I didn't really appreciate. I watched basketball with my father, but I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. So that was the first time that I could really say that my team was like that. Just the whole roller coaster of that season, the win streaks and everything like that. This is the next best thing since then, and it's been, man. Listen, I love this team. I love this team. Happy New Year, absolutely. Leon, lost my bets and I don't give a fuck. Number one in the East. Absolutely, man. Kobe's going to get paid when he hits free agency. Well, I mean, Kobe has to keep this going, right? Overall, it's been an up and down career so far for Kobe. If he ends and plays this well throughout the rest of the season, yeah, for sure. Kobe held it down. Kobe held the team down as a whole. What the fuck? I don't know what you're talking about, DB. I just skipped a couple comments. Let's go. Eduardo, I can't remember the last game that we won like this. Amazing. Last game that even came down to the last shot was DeMar hitting a game-winning shot in mid-range, but a shot like this? Come on, man. Angelo Williams, grind it out win, absolutely. Real star scream. DeMar and the Bulls started my New Year's drinking off right. Man, take it to the head, bro. Take whatever, man. Drink. DeMar DeRozan, absolutely, man. Bro, can you show the shot? Okay, here's the thing. I will get on that. Again, I know how to do all this with live streams. I don't have like the shot queued up or anything, and I don't know how to add. Hold on. Yeah, I would have to have the video downloaded on my computer with the software that I use to stream, but I'll start getting on that. I apologize, but no, I can't show the shot, man. Kobe White is the biggest catalyst for this win. He was on all game and made timely shots we needed to just barely pull through. Kobe White was on this game. Definitely big props to Kobe. Absolutely. Kobe couldn't miss and had some dimes tonight, but Lonzo can't come back soon enough. Our defense just not cutting it at the moment. Well, our defense has been pretty solid over the stretch. This game, yeah, and it's going to really show tomorrow, right? When you have the good type of guards that Washington does, it's probably going to show it rear its ugly head tomorrow, but the Bulls can't come out flat like they did tonight. Kobe played better than Zach. Yep, absolutely. Man, Matthew, let's not. First of all, I think what you're seeing is frustration in the game overall, but I highly doubt Zach cares about that. I highly doubt Zach cares about that at all. Zach has shown nothing but unselfishness, especially for DeMar DeRozan. We're not going to do that narrative. Dennis, Haize, let's just all enjoy being number one in the East. Absolutely. This one, Shay, put some respect on Kobe and Nikola Vucevic's name. Absolutely. Kobe doing Kobe things out there. Yes, Frank. Yes. All love. That was a terrible shot that went in. Good win. Nice to be at the top of the Mount East Conference. Absolutely. Okay, we got to stop this. Kobe trade value went up. Man, get out of here. Kobe's not going nowhere, man. Kobe's not going nowhere. Y'all got to get over there. If Kobe was going to be traded, he would have been traded by now. Preach. Kobe definitely has indispensable role on the team. I'm telling you, if Kobe, that's why you saw, right? Even when Kobe shot was those first 8 games that Kobe was back, when he was not playing well at all, but they still was consistently giving him minutes. That was even before the COVID outbreak. It was needed. Because they know how a effective Kobe White can really change the outlook of this team off the bench. They know and understand that. So, they need all that. As I turn on my dramatic light in the background. Listen, I'm excited, man. I'm super fucking excited, man. Cool. Blah. I see, and I like when people can admit this. I hated on Kobe at the start of the season. You're not an idiot, man. Honestly, this is me being fair. This is me, like, doubting Kobe White makes sense. Doubting Kobe's role on this team at the beginning of the season, it did make some sense. Thinking that Kobe may not have time on this team because of how the team was built out. It made sense to have those questions. But you're showing what you're doing is you're showing maturity and growth. You're seeing now that he's coming out of that, and you're able to say the things is that the people now who had the opinion of Kobe being bad, now they just want to switch to, oh, well, that just means they're going to trade him even more. Man, just admit Kobe's playing better. Come on. But yeah, you're doing that. So don't call yourself an idiot for that. MC Season. I've been saying from the beginning to all these fans, we shouldn't trade Kobe. Listen, as much love as I've been getting on this channel, the only video, no, there's two videos that I've gotten a lot of hate for. I dropped a video early in of why the Bulls will be crazy to trade Kobe White. That got me some hate. And then I did a video on why Paxson specifically was not as bad as a GM as what he became in the Gar-Pax era. That got me a little bit of hate as well. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. I stand by everything I say. I told you in the game chat, look for Kobe to have a big game. He playing with confidence. Absolutely. Absolutely. LaVine's poster dunk at the end was fire. Yeah, that was an amazing dunk in a pretty bad game for LaVine, but that was a great dunk. At least he can pull that out of it, right? All right, so I'm going to skip ahead some because I know my excitement of me just yelling and screaming when I first started here, I fell behind in the chat somewhat. Melons, make sure you keep looking out for any trolls because I am far back in the chat, but yeah. Bulls are now tied for first in the Eastern Conference with the Nets. Very impressive considering all the key players which have been in and out of the lineup rotation, also missing our head coach. King Austin, we're actually number one in the league because we own the tiebreaker as of right now. Now, the tiebreaker could change, but we own the tiebreaker over the Nets. So even if we are tied, we actually are the number one team in the East right now. So let's give ourselves that. Coach Fleming, Chris Fleming, I'm actually going to be doing a video tomorrow. So the video I drop tomorrow morning is going to be talking about Chris Fleming's coaching, what he does, what he's kept going and positive from Billy Donovan, how he's different from Billy Donovan. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that on this stream, but yes, Fleming has done a very impressive job as coach. And then I think tomorrow when I break down the stats a little bit more in that video, it is going to nail that point home a little bit even more. Oh, Christian is here. I'm sorry. My guess has just been Christian, hold on. Let me put on my headset. I can't hear you. You here, bro? Okay. I've been talking and I completely missed Christian. Hopefully he comes back. So I'll keep my headphones on to see because I was in my excitement. I did not go to Christian. So my bad on that one. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Christian if when he comes back. Let me see if he messaged me. Sorry about this, y'all. Oh, he might be gone. All right, let me get back to this. So we'll see. Christian just messaged me. He asked if I could hear him. I couldn't hear him. So we'll get back to that. You seen how Kobe? Oh, Christian's back. Let's get him back in here. Can you hear me, bro? Christian, if you're talking, I cannot hear you at all. Make sure your mic's turned on. While we're working on Christian, I'm going to keep going. Shay, I love this team and I love this channel. Hey, bro, thank you so much. You know I got love for you, Shay. You already know. You're one of the biggest supporters here. You're always sending in voicemails. You know I appreciate you. Christian still can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me. DeMar with the game-winning three reminded me of D-Rose, 1 foot off-balance heave, and people say he can't shoot threes. Now, let's be realistic. DeMar's shooting, I think, one of the best percentages of his career in three this season, but still, somebody told you that the game's going to come down to a last-minute three-pointer from DeMar DeRozan. A lot of people would still have some questions about that. Let's shout out Matt Thomas too. Kept us in the first half with yes. Matt Thomas gave us some very, very important minutes in this game as well. We don't want to overlook Matt Thomas at all. In his 20 minutes, eight points, plus minus of +8. So actually, Kobe, Matt Thomas, and DeMar DeRozan and Javonte Green, only Bulls with positive plus minuses in this game. Tyler Cook as well had a positive plus minus too. See Red Nation, absolutely, absolutely. Christian, I can hear you clicking, but I can't hear you if you're talking.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's great. What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. How do you feel about that win, brother?
Listen, honestly, I knew that, it's a lot going on right now. We missing coach, we missing guys. Lonzo's back, but he's not really back. So it's like, okay, if we drop this game.
Who you say is back?
Lonzo's back. Like, he's out of protocol, but he's not playing.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, he's not. Reportedly he didn't travel with the team, so he's actually not going to be back playing even tomorrow either. Unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like when I was watching the last 5 minutes of the game, because I missed the entire first quarter, and apparently I didn't miss much besides KC calling play-by-play, which I actually heard like the last couple minutes of. It wasn't really that bad actually. It's pretty good considering he's never really done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last 5 minutes of the game, man. It felt like 2017, 2018 again. Like I'm watching Paul Zipser and Marquise Teague running the court, and I'm like, okay, we lose this game, it's fine. But DeMar, and what?
Yeah.
Listen, man. I've been saying since the season started. I don't know what else we can really say about this, man, to people that don't watch Chicago Bulls basketball. Because anyone that thinks DeMar DeRozan is still the same player he was in Toronto clearly hasn't watched one single game this year or even his last year in San Antonio.
Is that and that's the thing? People are so quick to paint players in boxes of what they were and act like they always were. And granted, there's not a lot of players that really changed their game a lot in their 30s. But DeMar's added a lot to his game, and he's such a smarter player. He's hit that perfect peak of a player whose body hasn't started failing them yet, but he's at the peak part of his basketball mind. And because those two things are overlapping very well right now, we're seeing such an effective DeMar DeRozan. Overall in this season, it's been amazing. Let me go to the comments. Sierra Parker finally caught alive. I am glad to see you here. I love you. Thank you for making this live today. Let's go to some of these comments. Let's see. Scuddy would have loved to see Stacy react to that shot. Christian, what do you think about that? What do you think of Stacy King? How excited would Stacy King have been to see that shot tonight?
Listen, man, if that was Stacy, Stacy would have either like his headset would have fell off because he would have jumped up. Literally, Stacy's 6'10", he a big guy. So Stacy jumping up in that core, jumping out of the whatever he was plugged into. But Stacy, man, if he was there, hearing him and Adam yell at each other would have been crazy. Like my ears would have died.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, like games like these, I really miss Stacy's play calls because he actually enjoyed the games. And he's a former Bull. He has a heart in it. It's not one of the other guys who never played for the team. He actually cares. So like you see him this season, he's actually happy, man. How long has it been since you've seen a happy Stacy King?
Honestly, I feel like the last season, and this people may not agree with this, but it felt like Stacy King was happy the 3 Alpha season. That's the last season I can remember Stacy King being happy.
Honestly, yes. He was happy a little bit last season.
I think it was the excitement of Dwayne Wade being in the Chicago Bulls uniform that season that had Stacy on fire. That
too. And he's always been a Rondo fan. So the fact that Rondo's in the Bulls uniform is like perfect. It's heaven, man.
For sure. All right, let's go back to the comments. Sam Matthews said, I told you the Bulls winning 9 straight. So the Bulls win streak, Christians, currently sits at 6, as I'm sure you know. They have Washington coming up tomorrow. How far do you think this Bulls winning streak can go?
Honestly, man, like I don't want to jinx it. Sam, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but let's not put the wagon before the horse. But honestly, man, they can keep winning the way they've been winning without everybody being in lineup, constant rotation switches, and coaches isn't even there. So they play Washington tomorrow, Orlando.
Yeah, we have Washington tomorrow, Orlando Monday, and then Washington Friday, Dallas Sunday. So
they every time I say they might drop a game, man, they win the game. So I'm gonna stop. Actually, I'm gonna keep saying they're gonna drop that game against Dallas and Dallas. Next Sunday. Yeah, they'll lose that game.
I'm really excited about that Dallas game. Really excited about the Dallas game because I love Luka. I love Luka a lot. I'll actually be in Washington when we play Washington. So no. Wrong. I'll be in Chicago when we play Washington in Chicago on the 7th. So be on the lookout for me there. Anyone who's actually in the city of Chicago, you guys want to link up after the game, I'll be there. Probably won't be doing no live stream because I'm drinking during that game. Let me just let y'all know. The drinks will be flowing that game. So don't expect a live stream from me right afterwards, man, at all. We're going to go back to Tiara. Is it Tiara or Tiara? I don't want to mispronounce it, but she says, I was stressed in the fourth quarter. They need to get Vooch some help with rebounds or the guards need to crash the boards. What do you think about that, Christian?
Listen, man. Anybody that watches Miami Heat basketball, they know how good of a screener and a rebounder Dwayne Dedmon can be. If you pull off a trade or you get Dwayne Dedmon, you either pair him next to Vooch, depending on lineups, who you're going against, or you have him come off the bench. Listen, man, all the Bulls need is really a consistent four that's taller than 6'5".
And that's what I've been saying too. I'm glad that you said that because literally what I've been saying, because Bulls fans, they immediately go to like what star we can trade for and everything. Really, all the Bulls need is a 6'9" Javonte Green, somebody who plays with a lot of energy, is going to defend and can hit open shots. That's all they need.
You see the problem with that, the whole trade for another star thing, man?
Yeah.
We've been so stargazed by the LeBron era, then, the Steph Curry era, which blended right into each other. So now everybody thinks that you need at least 3 to 4 guys to win a chip. And that may be true. But now the script is flipped, man. You don't need 3 all-stars to win a chip anymore. 2 and a really good team, that's enough.
For sure. Real Star Scream comes with some facts I didn't know. Dinwiddie is actually out tomorrow. Okay, that changes some things because I've been saying that the Washington Wizards guard lineup is that we're definitely going to miss Caruso, and we're still going to miss them regardless. And Kobe White's improved on defense, but that does change some things. So you're saying the Bulls, when you say they don't drop a game till Dallas, is that what I remember you saying?
Yeah, I don't see them really realistically dropping a game until Dallas. I mean, I can see them pulling off the 2 W's and against Washington. The Orlando game, that might be a little struggle because every time we play Orlando for some reason, at least the first time, Wendell Carter Jr. feels need to let us know what he did at Duke, but not in the Bulls uniform, Yeah. So we'll probably win that game. But yeah, the Dallas game, that might be a toughie.
All right, for sure. All right, let's get into, and I'm not, Tierra just hasn't been here a lot. She's getting, wait, we already read this one. In the pain, he needs to crash. Yeah, we definitely, let's go. Cognac Boys, which is my fam. Cornrow Kobe. All right, it may be something to that. Smear 60 says, Haize, I was literally saying for the last week, we have some crazy games, but no buzzer beaters. DeMar answered that. Wow, it was amazing. Where do you rank that on buzz? I don't know how much other teams you watch in basketball. I watch a few. I watch whatever the best game is on that night if the Bulls aren't playing. But where do you rank that amongst buzzer beaters you've seen so far this season?
Shout out to Smear 60 because that's a very good point. Now that I think about it, the Bulls have won some close games this season, and I don't think we've had a buzzer beater this season, have we?
I think why do I feel like DeMar did hit a buzzer beater in mid-range? Or am I thinking about the one that he missed? Maybe that's what I'm thinking. The one that he missed, what was it, against Philly? Maybe that's what I'm thinking about, yeah.
Is it at the end that we went to overtime?
I think so.
Hold on, let me look it up. What game was that? I can't remember. But yeah, man. As far as buzzer beaters, I mean, honestly, this might be one of my favorites this season. And I don't mean to be a homer, but you got to think about it. Think about who made the shot and the way he made it. You would have never thought, DeMar, game-winning 3-pointer. Like,
for sure.
What? Maybe a fadeaway 2. Maybe you go to the free throw line. You win the game that way, but a 3 in somebody's face? Nah, that was crazy.
For sure. Jihad, P. Will pushing 6. I've already said this. The Bulls, to me, have not made they won't make a move for a starting caliber power forward. Maybe a power forward that you can start now because of things going on, but because they have their long-term starting power in Patrick Williams. I fully believe that that's what this front office thinks. What do you think about that, Christian, as far as like the Patrick Williams talk? A lot of people say they want to see him more aggressive on offense, and I understand that critique. But like I said, on this team, I've said this before, you don't need Patrick Williams to be aggressive on offense right now. You need him to hit open shots and build his confidence that way. What do you think about Patrick Williams when he comes back to this team, if he can come back this season?
You see, the thing with Patrick Williams, excuse me, everyone is so quick to give up on P. Will, and they're not realizing that P. Will is, kind of the source of Mark Evans. That's their first baby. That's their first draft pick. They're not just going to give up on that guy so soon and, he's injured, especially when he was playing so well, at least on the defensive side, before he went down, So the way they built this team, I don't think they're just going to move on from him. Honestly, I know I heard you talking before, beginning of the live stream. If they move on from any young talent, it's going to be Kobe White at the deadline. And that all depends on who's available, which quote-unquote disgruntled star can they pick up. What pieces out there that you makes them better with him not being on the team.
See, the thing is that even with that, again, I think if the Bulls needed to trade for a starter at power forward, like long term, I think that I would think that. But what part of the reason why I don't think the Bulls are going to trade Kobe again, my opinion holds no more weight than anybody else's who's on the live stream or anything else, is that bench scoring is important. And the Bulls when Kobe wasn't going, the highest they got was 26th in bench score. I'm not sure where they sit right now. I think they flirted with 25 for a while, but they were 28th, 27th, 29th for the long part on bench scoring. There's not been a team that's made a significant run with bench scoring rated that low. Now, if they make a deal for a power forward and then bring somebody else in for bench scoring, I know Io's scoring has improved, but it's not necessarily consistent in that way. I still think that if they can get Kobe White going, while that may raise his trade value, it also raises the Bulls' need to keep him in some ways. What do you think about that?
I think that's a perfect point. You trade away scoring and you get scoring, but you're not really solving the problem. You need more of it, you know?
Yeah.
After Kobe, I mean, who's another reliable bucket getter off the bench? Like, I can't
exactly. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. at times, and that's another thing that I do want to talk about is that Derrick Jones Jr. They didn't play him a lot this game. And then, I don't know if they're trying to preserve him, if he's maybe not completely healthy or maybe he tweaked something. But I would think the next best scorer off the bench, well, other than Alex Caruso can score, that he doesn't typically score a lot. But I do really think that Derrick Jones Jr. can be that maybe 10 to 11 point per game scorer off the bench with the way that Derrick Jones Jr. pick and roll before he went down with COVID was starting to turn dangerous. What do you think about that?
His cuts are nasty. He's easily one of the best cutters in the league, especially with this team around him, the passes that he has at his disposal. I really liked that pickup, honestly. People didn't think that was going to be a good one. I was like, man, have you watched DJJ? Like, whenever he's had a really good point guard or even a decent point guard, you know, he's been so explosive. Especially, we're not really asking him to be like a volume scorer or whatever. You know, we're not asking him to do too much. You know, and I think he really enjoys that role. Tyler Cook, man, he is coming out too. Listen, man. I said it on the timeline. Tyler Cook is giving me 2009 Tyrese Thomas vibes. You know, that 10 and 10, 2 assists, you know, a block and a half maybe. Listen,
he's more controlled than Tyrese Thomas too. Tyrese Thomas was terrible. Tyler Cook being able to stay out of foul trouble the way that he has really been impressive, because that's usually the first thing you go to with big men. And that was one of the things that even in Tyrese Thomas's early, like when he started getting a lot of minutes and playing pretty well, is he couldn't stay out of foul trouble. So you got a good point there.
That and Tyrese Thomas wasn't exactly skilled enough to be an undersized power forward.
And that, again, the NBA's changed so much even since then. I really do think Tyrese Thomas Tyrese Thomas never really put on weight either, but Tyrese Thomas would probably be better in this version of the NBA than what he was. But, you know, that's a conversation for another day. I want to go to this conversation from T here. This health and safety protocols is giving us an opportunity to build confidence of our bench and get them in the rhythm. We will now have the type of bench mob we did in the D-Rose era. Miss Parker. I like where you went with that. What do you think about that, Christian?
Listen, man. At that point, you remember those days back when the bench used to outscore a starting lineup? Those were the days, and we were still winning games. Like, it was crazy, man. To see the Bulls so top heavy and see the bench kind of bare besides Kobe and DJJ, we've never really had that. You know, the last 10, 12 years-ish, we've never really had that. We've been known for bench scoring and defense. Yep. So to see the defense and the offense take a leap, like, honestly, man, I can't remember the last time I've seen this Bulls offense so efficient. It's been so long. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know it's been at least since 2017, at least.
Hey, you got a good point there. Let's see. To go to our point, I skipped some. I'm sorry about this. Tyler Cook is the answer from Tavares Dixon. At this point now, I'm ready to say it. I've said it before, so you guys shouldn't be surprised by me saying it. Tyler Cook should be the first big man off the bench, even if Tony Bradley's healthy. I'm planting my flag in that right now. What about you, Christian?
Listen, man. As far as everyone else in the live chat, I'm pretty sure when I say this, we're going to agree. Tony Bradley is allergic to catching the basketball. I mean, like, for sure. He's just not explosive with his feet movement. I mean, he's like, I like Tony Bradley. Like, he's the only real big man we have on the roster besides Vooch. But sometimes, man, he's unplayable. He's really unplayable. And that's on both sides of the floor. Like, I've never seen a 6'11" center, bro, just refuse to put his arms up when somebody's driving them to the rim.
Bro, I don't know if you've listened to me before, but you're literally saying the exact same things that I've said. Like there's literally times where at his height and length, all he has to do is keep the ball in his hands and dunk it. Just right. Don't even jump. Just dunk the ball. And he doesn't do. In the process of getting the ball from here to here, the ball just somehow ends up on the floor.
on the floor in the opponent's hands.
And then every time it happens too, it's like it takes his brain 5 seconds to process that the other team is running down the court. So now we're outmanned in transition on top of that. So yeah, man.
It's a multi-layered issue. Adam and Robbie talked about during the broadcast. They were already spreading Tyler Cook agenda, man. You heard it, right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, it's there.
I'm planting my flag firmly in the Tyler Cook bandwagon as of right now. And this is the guy, when I did my preview of the Bulls season, I flat out said, if Tyler Cook is getting minutes on this team at any point, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. Now, that kind of has happened in some ways because of the COVID protocols, but he's showing that I was, and this is me, I got to admit, I was fucking wrong on Tyler Cook. Completely wrong on Tyler Cook. So there you go. Jack is the truth. First of all, Jack, did you get your t-shirt yet that I sent you? Jack won my very first giveaway after I hit 300 subscribers. Did you get your t-shirt yet? But congrats on the growth. Well-deserved. Keep Kobe. Super chat from Jack is truth. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for your contribution and everything, but absolutely keep Kobe White. That's my opinion. Christian, it seems like you are more so, depending on who we can get back for Kobe, you're open to trading Kobe, right?
You see, the thing is, man, I've spent so many years as a Bulls fan. I'm only 24, so like I really was introduced to Bulls basketball like towards the end of the Ben Gordon into the Derrick Rose era. So dealing with Gar Pax and Jerry Reinsdorf, I've built the affliction of holding on to talent and expecting it to be more than what it is showing me currently on the floor, and that has caused the Bulls to miss out on other players or just chemistry. Says Lauri Markkanen. Like, listen, man, I was the biggest Lauri Markkanen fan. I was like, listen, man, he can do it all. He can score from 1 to 3. He can guard 1 to 4, some 5s, and then boom, he just broke.
Bro, I'm so happy that I did not have this channel back then because my whole nature of this channel is conversations that me and my dad had about the Bulls. But there was a point in time where I screamed up and down that Lauri Markkanen, at the end of the day, at the end of his career, was going to bring the Bulls at least 2 titles. And I look foolish for that. I said that, bro. I'm never one to shy away from admitting when I was wrong. Yeah. I literally thought after Lauri's about halfway through his second season, I said, Lauri's going to bring us 2 titles before the end of his career. Just never happened. Never happened. I was completely thrown the fuck off with that one. So if chat make fun of me for that, I admit it. So it is what it is.
Listen, man, don't feel bad because at one point I thought Bobby Portis could have been, the next KG. So listen,
he is in a way, right?
He is though, right?
In a way, because this league would not allow a player like KG nowadays. Bobby Portis is the closest thing to that because if you guys watch, Bobby Portis talks so much shit. I was at a Bulls game once when he was there, and I wasn't sitting, like I wasn't on the court, but I was close, right? It was probably the most I ever spent on a Bulls ticket. And when I tell you, every time Bobby passed where I was sitting at, you heard he was talking shit to people he wasn't guarding. Bobby Portis is a fucking gem, man. It's a gem. I would have loved to have him still on this team, man. We're going to go to we're not going to do that because we have company today. I'm not going to do Petty Roosevelt is not going to come out while I have company in the building. This is the first buzzer beater this season. Love the way he kept his hands up after the shot as if to say, yeah, I'm that good. Didn't Lonzo have a buzzer beater at some point this season? I think that's what didn't Lonzo hit a buzzer beater 3? Maybe he hit the 3 to seal the game, but it wasn't a buzzer beater.
Lonzo did hit a buzzer beater 3 this season.
I think so.
Now that I think about it.
All right, let's go to BV. Much love, Haize. What are your first memories of the Bulls? I've told this story on the channel, Christian. I'm gonna ask you, but I'll tell it again. Some of my first memories as a Bulls fan are during the second three-peat. I don't remember which season. I was too young to remember exactly which season it was, but literally every time the Bulls would lose, I would go to my room and cry every single time. And that's some of my earliest memories. So my mom would literally be like, motherfucker, come on, man. My mom is she's former military too. She's tough as hell. But like, she would literally be like, son, what the fuck are you doing, man? So that's some of my earliest memories. But honestly, my earliest memories outside of that are just watching the game with my dad. Even when I can't remember like which game it was or me really processing basketball, seeing my dad's excitement of watching, he's from Chicago, of watching the Chicago Bulls play, I felt like it was something I had to be a part of. Like it was something that I literally just sat in the room sometimes as a kid, like 4 or 5 years old, and just I wasn't even paying attention to the game. I was paying attention to my dad. So that's some of my earliest memories. Christian, what about you?
Some of my earliest memories, man, honestly. I can't remember what game it was, but I know Ben Gordon had like 42 points. And I think it was a buzzer beater or something like that. And I was watching that game with my dad, and I think I was like, honestly, man, I couldn't have been older than like 12, honestly. 13 maybe. And he just started yelling, man. And I'm just like, whoa. I honestly, I was scared for a second. He just like, it scared me. He just jumped up and started screaming. And I was just like, oh, wait, I watched the replay. I was like, that was a nice shot. But probably one of the most memories as far as like my actual adolescence, me remembering. Listen, man, I still say to this day, the greatest playoff series I have ever watched.
I know we're going
Bulls and Celtics.
Oh, man, listen, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Triple overtime game, 2 double overtimes. Come on, man. The best playoff series ever.
Yeah, best, especially best first round playoff series ever. I can't I think that's absolutely goated at this point is one of the best first round playoff series of all time. All right, let's go to the next one. How can P. Will get up to a consistent 15-point scorer, 3, or just constant cutting off the ball? I don't think he needs to be at this point in his career. As long as DeMar DeRozan is on this team, and Vooch, P. Will does not have to be a 15-point per game scorer. Where you need to build P. Will's confidence is getting the shots that like Javonte Green gets, is that getting the open shots, taking the mid-range shots, taking whatever this offense gets you open-wise and shooting that ball confidently. I don't want to see him be a 15-point. We can become and that's not to say that we're already a champion. We're a championship contender. Let me say that right now. We can be a championship contender with P. Will playing, only averaging 9 to 10 points a game, but hitting his open shot so that the other team has to stay on him and guard him, and him playing his brand of defense. But the Bulls are already championship contenders. What do you think about P. Will turning into a scorer? What type of scorer can you see P. Will turning into?
Listen, man, 15 points per game is nice, but as far as like box score watching, I don't even care about it. You know why? There's so many other dudes on this team, man, that can go get a bucket at any moment's notice. P. Will doesn't have the pressure of most lottery picks of having to be that guy. Out of like the most recent lottery picks, he's probably the only one I think that doesn't have to be that guy. And people talk about how he wasn't really scoring that much. Or, I do agree. He is conservative with his shot very often, but that's not going to be the case all the time. Eventually, he will start throwing it up like Ayo. And everything as far as like his point per totals and all of that, that's great. 15 points per game, that's a nice shot. But listen, man, the defense that he plays on the other team's best player, I take that over the points, honestly, man. Because the points he's not scoring, he's restricting the other guy from scoring.
Exactly, and that's what I want to see from P. Will too. Is that brand of defense? Just imagine that the Bulls are going to have a world in which they have Lonzo, P. Will, Javonte Green, Alex Caruso, Ayo Dosunmu, and Derrick Jones Jr. isn't a terrible defender either. Being able to focus on defense and just hitting open shots, getting different types of offense. Listen, give me that is a championship team on the defensive level, and we already know our offense is taken care of.
You know what the Bulls haven't been able to do since Tibbs?
What's that?
Switch. And that is what Billy has these dudes do if you watch, bro, you watch the games. I know you do. They switch everything. It's like watching the Warriors play defense. It's like watching an NBA team in 2021 play defense. And the Bulls haven't done that for a while. So to see all these dudes that Ack and Mark Eversley brought in one offseason, count it one, and see them jail like this, come on, man. It's Coach of the Year, Executive of the Year. I mean, whatever awards they need to win, give it to them, because nobody predicted this. Quote unquote, the worst offseason signing ever.
Yeah. It's crazy, bro. Crazy. Ricky Fontaine, I believe when Mari put on all that muscle and messed up his game, his shot got less consistent and he lost some athleticism. That's a good point from Ricky Fontaine. Christian, what do you think about that?
That is an amazing point. People remember, Larry was really skinny when he first got to the Bulls, and he got some weight. He was flexing all the muscles and everything. It was cool. And then you remember he got that first back injury. And then after that, it kind of started spiraling. A 7-footer guy that shoots, you need your back. And then I think that also hurt it. His, the way he backs down in the paint, like his strength and his speed, as far as hand-eye coordination, it just wasn't there anymore, man. And to see a guy that young not be able to do that and what we needed him to do, it hurt. and it was unfortunate, but to be honest, I mean, he's playing kind of well and doing what Bickerstaff is having to do in Cleveland. So, that's something to be noted.
For sure. Let's go to Josh Simmons. If you watch the video, the best reactions, Mo Cheek forgetting he was a coach for a second and then remembering. I have to go watch that, but
me too.
Mo Cheeks is an excitable dude, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
Chicago's very own.
Walter Kutcher. I was a fan when you could only get games on tape delay or radio. My brother, Jesus. Okay, hey, I can't even speak to that.
So those like the Artist Gilmore days, right?
Yeah, man, listen, I can't even speak to that. Let's see. Christopher House. Life is funny. You never know how things will turn off, Haize. I went from a few disrespectful comments to you being my favorite place to hear Bulls talk. Love what you're doing. Salute. Hey, thank you, Christopher. Like I said before, man, I can separate myself from the creator, from the fan, to just the person. And people disagree with me. This is never the channel where I want people to disagree with me, because that tells me that you're thinking. That opens up dialogue. So yeah, Christopher got in my ass a little bit, but we talked about it. He said he was going through some stuff at the time. So it is what it is. But we are brothers in our Bulls fandom. So that's what it's all about, man. I don't hold any grunts in this shit. This is just creative. This is basketball talk. I want this to feel like barbershop / talking with your best friend afterwards. And sometimes when you and your friends disagree on a sports topic, y'all get a little disrespectful. Yeah, it happens. It happens. That's just the passion. That's all that is. Let's see. Jihad has an interesting point. P. Will has sharpshooter potential. He can rip threes consistently. I can't say that I've personally seen that to where I'm ready to say that, but hey, like I said before, my opinion holds no more weight than anybody else on here. I hope you're right. What do you think about that, Chris? You think P. Will has sharpshooter potential?
In the corners, especially, I think he does. If he can hit those threes like Javonte hits, I'm not the stats in front of me, but Javonte is like 50%, 40% in the corners this year, and like 30% some of the top of the key. But he's been killing those corner shots. I just wish they could give him more of those. But if P. Will can dominate that shot, man, it's the easy shot on the floor, quote unquote. He can become a sharpshooter in the corner. And that's really, again, minute things that we're asking him to do to be good at. Like, what other lottery pick can you really say that about?
That is true. I've seen a couple of people say this in the comments, and I have overlooked it just because that's not the read that I got, but maybe people are seeing something that I didn't see. But Joseph Hall, I'm going to go to this. Is it just me, or did it look like Zach was low-key disappointed that he didn't get to make that shot instead of DeMar? I have said that because of just their talk about egos and everything, I can't imagine that happening. But hey, I didn't see it. Christian, did you see anything like that?
I didn't see it, and I'm probably going to go back and watch Mo Cheeks and this after the live stream. But I can't say that didn't happen, but I can just speak to what I've seen so far this season, man. They don't care about that. It's 1A, 1B. These dudes they're both really good at scoring the basketball and doing what they do efficiently, I don't know. I mean, maybe to play devil's advocate, maybe he's been hearing, DeMar is the best player in the Bulls. Maybe he's been hearing that, and maybe that's why he went off the other game, so we don't know.
If anything, it may be a combination of his frustration and his. One thing that we do know is Zach gets frustrated with refs. He gets frustrated with himself. He did not play the best game today, so maybe it was some of that. I think Zach was open at one point during that stretch, so maybe it's something like that as well. But it is what it is. I'm sure by the time they got to the locker room, Zach is so happy that they won that game is going to be what it is, man.
Listen, man, they're not going to remember this game come April.
Exactly. Blah. It's not how many points P. Will can score. It's how good of a defense and if he can help with the rebounding issues. We're a great scoring team without him. Absolutely. And the Christian's point that he said earlier is not necessarily about how many points P. Will can score. It's how many points he can stop whoever he's guarding from scoring. And that's where his biggest part of his contribution comes in at. What about you?
Exactly, man. Like I said earlier, we've got so many guys that can get us a bucket when we need it. Pete Will is honestly probably the fifth option in the lineup. And you can say that, confidently. Yeah. So, at that point, you're not really asked to score. You're asked to hit the shots that you're getting, hit the open shots, and then play the great defense that we've seen you play before. You got to think about it, man. Every single superstar in this league has commented on Pete Will and how good he is. From KD to Steph to point guards, power forwards,
LeBron.
centers. LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron James. So, whatever somebody tells me they don't really know what people's potential is, I say, listen, I got screenshots. I can show you.
Absolutely. Let's go to Nick Tolliver. I think tonight's shot is going to up DeMar's chances at MVP. Not saying he gets it. It's not too likely, but I think more people will look into it and consider it. Him and Zach will be starters for sure. If not, I'd be lying if I didn't say, or blind if I didn't admit that, yes, hitting shots like this absolutely affects MVP scoring. But if nothing else, best believe DeMar DeRozan is getting a ton of All-Star votes tonight. What do you think about that, Christian?
Listen, man, that sounds like perfect cake with a bunch of layers that I all like. Perfect. Listen, man.
For sure.
DeMar, shots like these, they get people talking. This is going to be on SportsCenter in the morning. They're going to be talking about the Bulls. Oh, wow, is Chicago for real? I hate that question because you just asking the question to people who haven't really watched the games. Exactly. And I get that. It's ESPN. It's not NBC Sports Chicago. Shout out to those guys. But listen, man, Zach and DeMar, they're both supposed to be starters in my opinion. Trae Young's having a great season, but when you have two guys who are dropping 27, bro, and they're shooting at 50% from the field, they have to be starters. I'm sorry. That's just what I see it.
For sure. I feel that for sure. Let's see. Ricky Fontaine. Zach didn't react as fast as everyone else. He untucked his jersey, then put his hands up and went to everyone else in celebration. I figured it was something like that. If anything, his reaction was probably like, damn, man, we almost lost this game because I sucked this game. That's probably what it was, knowing Zach LaVine. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think it's anything about being salty that DeMar hit the shot over it or anything.
Honestly, this is probably one of Zach's worst games this season up to this point. Yeah. He was like 7 from 17 from the field. I don't think he scored much in the fourth quarter, if at all. So, this was really, they both played bad, though. If I want to be, they both played pretty bad.
Yeah. Kobe White kept us in this game. Absolutely. Yes.
This is Kobe White's game. I mean, this is his highest scoring total of the season. What was it, 28?
Yeah.
I think he scored 28 because the other previous was 24. So, 6 from 7 from 3. Listen, man, he's not going to do this all the time. But if Kobe White can just get us like 42 from the field and like 38 from 3, like that's all we need, man. Like that's all we need.
Absolutely. Let's go to this comment. Dwayne Taylor, Chicago Bulls are back. Let the multiverse of Madhouse on Madison begin. I love that. The multiverse of Madhouse on Madison. That is fucking amazing spin on a movie that's upcoming, man. For sure. Christian, how many Chicago Bulls game have you got to go in person? Or are you going to any in person this year?
Listen, I was supposed to go to the Hawks and the Bulls game in Atlanta, but COVID was really bad. And I was like, listen, man, because I bought the tickets like a month and a half in advance. And it was nowhere near like where it is now. So I was like, I might relax. I've been to one this season. It was pretty good. I think they won. Honestly, I can't even remember what game it was. But I went to a lot more like in the 2018, 2019 season. But I'm going to go to some in the 2022 because, listen, man, it seems for real. And I need to see it in person.
Next, so Indiana is Indianapolis is 3 hours from me. Next season, I'm going to every game the Bulls play in Indiana against the Pacers. Every game, just because it's so close. Washington is one of my favorite cities. DC is. So I'm going to go to whatever game they play there, and then I'm going to try to go to 2 United Center games as well next season. Best believe Haize is going to be at no less than 10 Bulls games live next season. Mark my words on that. One this season, but I'm going to a lot next season. That's for sure.
Hey, man, when are you in the city? Let me know.
All right, for sure. All right, Chicago Bulls Central. Is DeMar going to be all NBA first? Well, my answer to this is he should be. But the reason why I'm saying that he may not be, because if the NBA pulls that shit of listing him as a guard like they did, and I almost think that they have to. Has there ever been a time where somebody has been listed on the All NBA team at a different position than what they're listed as in All-Star voting? Somebody let me know that. But if they pull that shit and list him as a guard, then no, he's not going to be first. He'll probably be second. What do you think, Christian?
When I saw the All-Star ballot, when they first put him as a guard, I was pissed because I was like, first of all, DeMar hasn't played guard since like what the first couple of years of his career. He's been a forward, literally a power forward for the majority of this season. And I get it. Play devil's advocate again. I get it. There's so many other guys at 4 that you'd have to pick. He probably wouldn't start, but at the same time, he's not a guard.
Mm.
I would love to see him on All NBA first, but again, as a guard, probably won't happen.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
second team.
Yeah. If he's listed as guard, there's almost no way Zach is going to get that nod before him. But yeah. Or if DeMar if he gets more game winners like this, it may be flip flop where Zach is second team and DeMar's first. But either way, they both win in that case, because even if Zach gets second team or any team All NBA, he's qualifies for the Supermax. So Zach is gonna fuck that. He's just gonna be going like this: give me my money and let's keep winning. That's what he's gonna do.
Exactly.
Predictable YT. Why do you think Troy Brown didn't play? He played 4 minutes in this game. But I don't know. I was surprised not to see him or more of Derrick Jones Jr. Honestly, what do you think about Troy Brown Jr. season so far, Christian?
Troy Brown Jr. Remember, he didn't really play much in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and
then he started playing. He was really good, and then he got hurt. But then again, the team is just really deep, So there's other guys that I'll play them in certain stretches of games. Like DJ Jays came up out of nowhere. Tyler played the last couple of games. Like that energy, man. Like he literally tries to hammer the rim every time he has the ball in his hands. And we need that ferocity. We need that, toughness, because we don't have that. But as far as TBJ, man, he's another guy that's always in the passing lanes. His feet are always where he's supposed to be, always in the right place at the right time, just like Javante. We got all the wings, man. The fact that he played 4 minutes and, we still played decent, wasn't that bad. We're good, man.
For sure. All right, we got a super chat from Mo. Should the Bulls sign Chinese prospect Ashok D? And I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I have no idea. Listen, I won't even try to fake my way through any analysis of that. Christian, you got anything to add to that?
Listen, man, I probably have to go do my YouTubes and see who that is, and I'll get back to you. But if he's anything that you think he is, let me know.
All right, cool. We got Beowulf in the building. We have to keep Kobe. I admit I'm wrong about trading him away. Listen, I'm glad so many people are admitting that. But to Christian's point, it depends on what offers you get. But I'm standing on firm. Kobe White isn't and shouldn't be traded. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think it literally has to be the perfect offer to the point to where it's like, okay, would it be stupid to keep Kobe for this deal? But then again, how often does that really happen?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to Cordell98. I still can't believe your guest on live right now said P. Will is probably a 5th option after everything Lonzo did in the way we needed to step up his scoring. P. Will has the advantage to learn from all-stars. I think you're taking his saying probably too much. He was working through his thoughts. I don't want to speak for Christian, but again, some people try to pick apart things so bad when they just don't hear what they want to hear. Like, I understood what Christian meant. I think Christian, you want to get a chance to elaborate at all on that?
Yeah. So when I say probably, I'm not saying he's better than Lonzo as far as in the pecking order. I'm just saying as far as what they ask from these guys, he's most likely going to be 5th, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have other guys. You got Lonzo, you got DeMar, you got Zach. Whoever's going to be at the 4, Javante or whoever, and then you got DeMar. The fact that he's 5th in the starting lineup, that's probably a great thing for a guy that's pretty conservative in shooting. They're not putting him on the stage to the point to where he feels like he has to. So that's actually the perfect poison for him.
For sure. Let's go to Mo. Mo, so with what I use, I stream through Restream. I'm far back behind the chat, so I don't get a notification when I get a super chat. So I didn't know. I wasn't ignoring you, brother. I don't know until I make it to it. All right, let's see. Jihad again. The next 6 years will be filled with all NBA selections, all-stars, and a few rings. I guess he's specifically meaning with the Chicago Bulls. Hey, from your mouth to God's ears, my brother, because we definitely deserve it. We got players that deserve it. And I think while this season is the season of showing, right, DeMar's what he can play and proving doubters wrong, I'm telling you guys right now, believe me, there's a couple of reasons why I feel this. Lonzo Ball kind of being screwed out of all-star selection and other things. Lonzo in the second half of this season is going to be aiming to shut down every point guard in front of him. And next season, we're going to be talking about Lonzo easily an all-star next season if he doesn't make it this year. Lonzo, it's going to motivate Lonzo some big time. What do you think about Lonzo Ball future as an all? I definitely think he's going to be an all-star a few times while he's in a Chicago Bulls jersey. But do you agree with me? You think Lonzo's going to be coming out trying to prove some of these other all-star point guards and shutting them down?
I think the fact that Lonzo's one of the best defenders at the point guard position, the fact that he's not consistently even in all-star consideration, even as a reserve. I mean, we honor offense, but we don't really honor defense anymore. There used to be guys that would make the all-star game just because they play great defense. But as far as, the future, Lonzo, the sky is really, the option. That and the fact that he's going to see DeMar and Zach go to the all-star game, and he's going to be there, in street clothes. It's not a bad thing, but that's going to motivate him. I want to be on this stage. I want to be wearing an all-star jersey. I want to be shaking up with LeBron and all these. Probably not. I don't think he's a really big LeBron fan anymore. But, he wants that stage, man. He's going to get there eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Mo, it's pronounced Isuk Dik, averaging 22 points. Again, I don't want to just go off numbers. I actually will. Here's the thing, especially since you provided it as a super chat. I will watch videos of this guy, and I'll do a separate video for your 2 super chats and me talking about some of his potential as a Chicago. And I don't really do that a lot, but I'll do that just for you since it's somebody that I'm not sure of. Let's go to Marco with some hate here. Patrick Williams is just another guy. Bulls fans love to follow. Nobody's talking about potential. We're talking about what Patrick Williams proved in his rookie season. And if there's nothing else, he can be an extremely high-level defender, if not one of the best on-the-ball defenders in the league. Again, that's not potential. That's what he showed. Then if you add the potential that he did that at 19 years old before really adding an NBA body to that, man, you're asleep. Christian, what do you think?
Listen, man, Marco, Patrick Williams is not just another guy, because if he was, they wouldn't have picked him at 4th when no one knew his name.
They could have easily traded down, right? The Bulls could have probably traded as low as 10th, got some more assets, and still got Patrick Williams. It's not out of the lottery. Yeah. Them doing that, and again, it's funny that people always want to doubt that because they want this quick gratification in players. AK and Eversley drafted him for the potential that they saw in him, what he could turn into. And if we keep saying how great it feels to have a competent front office, that means trusting the decisions they made. And that was their first decision. So
that is facts. But Marco made a great point, though. We do fall in love with potential. But, Marco, you got to realize why we do that. Because we have nothing else. All we have is potential and lottery picks these last decades. So, that's all we really had. But we are slowly getting out of that because we're winning now again. So, for as far as the Bull fans that do hold on to potential, give us some time. We're working on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And potential is definitely a part of the game. Like you have to, people who just trade just now, like just for the sites, then you end up like the Lakers. You have to have a player who you can see some potential in while you have stars. That is what you want to do. Ty Perk, you popping Percocets, my brother? No, I'm just playing. Haize and Christian, how far can you realistically see the Bulls going? Listen, I said it earlier. The Bulls are a championship contender. Fuck that. I don't give a damn what anybody else says. Again, I'm not saying they should be favored or anything like that, but the Bulls can win a championship this year. Christian, what do you think?
Coming to this season, I was like, I'd be happy with a first round exit. And then we won 15 games. And I was like, this might be a second round exit. And at this point, man, they are championship contenders for a couple facts. One, again, like I said earlier, the NBA is not a league where you need 3 guys to go win a chip. You don't need that anymore. First of all, you never really needed it, quote unquote, some guy just decided to go to a 73-9 team, that's history, right?
Yeah.
The Bulls honestly could win a championship this year. I don't fear anyone in the East besides the Bucks, and that's simply because of Giannis, and we haven't seen how the Bulls are going to match up against that. It's probably not going to look great. Stacy King actually tweeted out today, talking to one of these guys I know on Twitter, saying, the Bulls might actually do something, and, if they pull off a trade for Jeremy Grant, and, that might be something to put against Giannis, because apparently he had like 4 or 5 blocks in a game against Giannis one day. You remember that?
Yeah.
And apparently Giannis has never been blocked more than twice in the game, so everybody's like, yo, he's the answer. And I'm just like, okay, listen.
Ricky Fontaine, Haize, you know what? Y'all motherfuckers are fucking retarded. Like, that's all I got to say to y'all. I'm sitting here talking bullshit. Y'all trying to pull pranks. Block that motherfucker. No, I'm just playing. Y'all gonna make Petty Roosevelt come out for sure.
How did I not Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
exactly. Like I'm so into the actual conversation about the Bulls. Like that didn't even pop in my head. Jonathan Washington Jr. says, I don't know about that one, Haize. Pat really started gaining steam towards the draft. It was reports that if the Bulls didn't take him, the team right behind him would have. But I agree, P. Will is for the long run.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
See, this is why we like stuff like this. People that are smarter than us and let us know things.
Hey, that's why this is a conversation. I don't have all the answers. Exactly. I don't even pretend to do it to be like none of that. I'm a fan just like everybody else. I don't have the answers sometimes. That's why I like when you guys come in and back me up and make me look smarter. It's crazy how good the Bulls team is playing, and we're missing two of our best defenders. This team can make it very far in the play. Listen, people always, it's funny how people say defense wins championships, and then you see a Bulls team in which when everyone was healthy, we were flirted between 7th and 5th in defensive rating, and that's with having a 6'4" player playing power forward. The Bulls easily could probably be top 3 defensively if we had Patrick Williams and he didn't go down for sure.
If Javonte just grew 3 inches overnight, he just gave us like 6'9.5", bro. That's all we need.
Yeah, for sure. Kobe White has been playing well, seems to have found his rhythm. He will most definitely land us the big we need at the foot. Listen, it's not happening. No, that is, y'all got to stop. Okay, here's the thing. Let me poke hole in this real quick. First of all, Christian Wood, again, a future pick. The Bulls don't have a pick to 2027. Nobody's not trading for that, not knowing what the makeup is going to be as the first pick that they get. Troy Brown Jr. isn't playing good, hasn't played very well throughout the season. He's putting some things together. Kobe White, again, y'all be focused so much on making things work that they can easily get a first round pick that's higher up than anything the Bulls can offer in the next 5 years. Come on now. Turner, again, I think Turner, again, I broke him down. There's no reason to bring in Miles Turner. What Miles Turner is a terrible passer. Everybody who's talking about the ball movement and everything in the Bulls that makes us offensively great, you bring in Turner, shoot that shit in the head. The Bulls don't need to bring in a player that you need to call offense for to fill our hole at the 4. Bagley, okay, I'll give you Bagley. But again, I don't think the Bulls trade. They're not going to trade for a young player who they don't know exactly what they're going to get in. I don't think. What do you think about that, Christian?
Tony, if you watch Vooch enough, you know he's the offensive engine of this team. He's also the defensive engine. If you really watch these last 15 games, he's been helping them out on both sides of the floor. He gets a defensive rebound. He's Lonzo, so he's throwing full court passes to people running down the court. As far as offense, he's in the middle of the court. He's passing. He's an octopus. He's dishing out. He's running up to the rim. He's doing all the little things we've been asking him to do so far this season. So as far as bringing in Miles Turner is, like you said, it's a terrible passer. He's not that good of an offensive player like they say he is. And Vooch actually has a bag. I've seen Vooch put the ball between his legs, and I was like, oh, didn't know he could do that. Christian Wood, good player, great player. The Bulls are gonna have to pay him eventually. I don't think that's really on the horizon.
He's making a lot of money right now too, so let's not forget that.
And then we don't even know. I like Bagley, but we don't really know what he is. So no, that's no.
Exactly. All right, let's go to this next comment. Digital QI. Why so few touches from Kobe while DeMar and Zach were struggling? I mean, Kobe was the engine that kept us in the game. So I mean, he got it. You're gonna try to get your 2 best players hot when you can, but I mean, Kobe showed his ass. I mean, he's what we won this game. Yes, off DeMar DeRozan's 3-pointer, but Kobe is the reason why we were able to even be in that position. What do you think about that, Christian?
There were a lot of stretches during the game, especially in the second half, where Kobe was actually deflecting and just passing the ball off to Zach and DeMar trying to get them hot. So I think he was actually just trying to get them going. Like he's actually, it's so crazy to say this. Kobe White might actually be able to be a point guard sometimes off the bench. Like I didn't think that was possible, but he's actually looking. He's actually looking to get people open.
Yes.
It's actually happening.
But you know what? Honestly, and I say this at the behest of sounding like Boylan, unfortunately, because I don't want to say anything that dumbass dude said. He has a Muppet for a face. I don't want to say anything he said. But sometimes you do learn from watching. And the thing is with Kobe being down with his shoulder as long as he was, if he's anything of the player that we think he can be, he was probably watching a ton of Bulls, a ton of his own possessions from last season, a ton of this team to see how he can fit in with this team when he gets here. And we're seeing the benefit of that. That's what I think.
There was this interview. I have to look it up on YouTube, but I saw. As far as the whole shoulder injury, Kobe White was, really disappointed with himself because he got injured, and it was the first off season with Ack and Mark Eversley, and he felt like he was going into a new situation, 10 steps behind everybody else, and I get that. He couldn't start, he couldn't play. If you remember when the season started, he wasn't even practicing yet.
Yeah.
So he's really just watching these guys. He's just on the treadmill, trying to get right, and that played into a lot of that. Sometimes people forget how mental sports can be for a professional athlete. Kobe White has something to prove, and I hope he proves it to me. Well, not to me, but to Ack and whoever else actually matters. Because I don't. My opinion doesn't matter. But the people that drafted him, it matters.
For sure. Absolutely. Mo said, after me being a good sport, he got a new sub. Well, thank you, brother. Let's go to Cap. Does DeMar's history of choking in the playoffs worry me? No, because again, he's become let's keep in mind, yes, he had some very bad performances against LeBron James, right?
Please say it one more time. Hey,
let's not act like DeMar had playoff choking performances and Denzel Valentine was guarding him or something. It was LeBron James. So no, it doesn't worry me, and the reason why it doesn't worry me is because even if something happens with DeMar to where he's not as good in the playoffs, we got Zach. We got Lonzo who's shown that he can step up and be a different type of scorer when he needs to be. We got Vooch also. All those things coming in, no, it doesn't worry me about DeMar's history in the playoffs. What do you think, Christian?
I'm gonna keep it short, but we and you have been in these Twitter spaces, and people have been talking about DeMar and all this other stuff and history. And I'll say one thing: how can you acknowledge past history but not acknowledge, most recent or actual history now?
Mm-hmm.
His best playoff season he's ever had was in San Antonio with Pop. You think that doesn't mean anything? Because I think it does. Best 3-point percentage, best field goal percentage, best assists. But come on, man. It's a tired debate, and I feel like people that say that aren't really actually watching DeMar play basketball this season.
That's a good point. I agree with all of that. Let's go to Jonathan Washington Jr. How would you guys rate Chris Fleming from these last 4 games as acting head coach? Christian, I'll let you get the floor first on that one.
Chris Fleming, he was talking to Casey Johnson, and he was talking about how this isn't really a tryout for a head coaching job. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the right answer. But then again, listen, man, Luke Walton said the same thing. He said the same thing going State.
That's a good point.
And, he led them to the finals. And, that made a big difference. And he, went to Sacramento, and the rest is history. But I think Chris Fleming, the league is watching. And I do think that he may get a nod towards maybe a bigger assistant head coaching job on the Bulls, possibly. But I don't see him leaving. 6 games, or has he coached 6 games so far? What is it like?
No, this is his 4th game. This is his fourth game coaching.
Yep. 4th game. I don't think that's really a big enough sample size to say, hey, maybe he deserves a full-time gig. But like I said, people are watching, and the front office is definitely watching.
For sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, and people forget Chris Fleming, and I'm going into this video I'm going to do tomorrow, but people forget that Chris Fleming was literally the only coach from Boylan's staff that stayed here. Chris Fleming was here in Chicago before then.
Exactly.
And so that goes to show you that there's something there, right? There's something there with Chris Fleming. And again, I don't want to cause any alarm. I have this theory that Billy Donovan is not going to be with the Chicago Bulls after his contract ends. So we'll see what happens after that. And not because the Bulls aren't going to win or anything, but I really do think Billy Donovan came here because of AK and everything. But I do see Billy Donovan's going elsewhere after a while. Again, that's not to say that the Bulls aren't going to win or anything like that, but that's just my personal opinion. Christian, do you and again, that's not what I want. I would love to see Billy Donovan. I want the Bulls to have one of those coaches like Pop that stays here for 10 plus seasons, and we just see that. I wouldn't mind at all Billy Donovan doing that, but that's just my personal opinion. Christian, what do you think?
You see, after Tibbs, man, really don't know what to say about head coaches being the Bulls anymore because after Tibbs, we had Hoiberg, and I say to this day, we did Hoiberg a service, man. If he would have had the roster that Boylan had, the first roster that Boylan had, listen, man, who knows what could have happened? Because Hoiberg actually had a system. He doesn't have the players to execute the system, and it looked terrible because of that. Let's try to run the triangle without Kobe. You put Smush in, it's gonna look bad. But
we've seen it.
Yeah, as far as Billy going anywhere else, I don't know. I mean, he's never really looked to me as like a guy that had been somewhere for a while. Like I don't think he's been at. How long was he in OKC? Like 4 years, I think.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, I think.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. He might stay, he might not. But if the Bulls win, I mean, who knows? If the Bulls continue to win and they might get to the finals or they make a deep run, why would he leave?
Exactly. Tony Williams, at the end of the day, we have to be part of being realistic too is coming up with realistic deals, not just coming out with whoever you heard was on the trade deadline. And part of being realistic also is looking at what this team needs. This team doesn't need another star. This team doesn't need another player that you have to call offense for. Yes, we do need size. Everybody knows that. But going right to whatever other star just because they've been reported as being available isn't the answer either. That's not being realistic. You think GMs sit back and say, "Oh, Indiana said Sabonis is available. I've been waiting for that." No, they be proactive and they take a look at the team. You got to take a look at more just plugging in a name that looks like they solve what we do. You have to be realistic in how this team wants to play again, and also the future in Patrick Williams. This front office is not trading away Patrick Williams, not at this point. That's just period. When you hear how they talk about him, it's a non-starter. So when the Bulls look to bring somebody in, yes, they may look to bring in some size, but it's not going to be trading for, it may not be trading for anyone at all. It may just be looking at the buyout market. What do you think about that, Chris?
Listen, man, you just took the word right out of my mouth. I was just going to say, whenever someone thinks this season, whether they be a Bulls fan or not, about improving the Bulls, how come it's always a trade? Why is not the buyout market? Why isn't it, somebody, a team, waiving somebody and then clearing waivers, just signing them? Why isn't ever that? Why isn't ever that? It's always Kobe, P Will. Like, come on, man. These guys are young. Give them some time.
For sure. All right. Mods, I don't know if you see this dude with this long ass name. Get him up out of here. Thank you. Let's see. Get the spammers out the chat. All right, let's see. I'm going to go to Nocturno on here. Hope it doesn't play out like the Bulls before. They won a championship in the 90s when Doug Collins couldn't get it done. Then Phil Jackson reaped the benefits of the Jordan era. What do you think about
that is a Nocturno Hustler. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that you've been alive to see the Bulls in the 90s and the late 80s because that is a perfect point. Like, think about it. Like, what if that's actually the case? And the Bulls was really, really good this season, and the Billy's next year, and they don't get to where Ack and Mark Eversley believe this team can be. Because Ack has championship aspirations. His first thing out of his mouth, I want to bring a championship back to Chicago.
Yeah. And listen, he's made the correct moves to do so. And that's the thing where people again, they talk about, I said this earlier in the stream, people talk about how good AK and Eversley do, but then immediately try to think over for them. Oh, well, if they were smart, they would go. No, trust what they're going to do. Just like people doubted. And again, us as Bulls fans, but I mean, and I understand people having fit concerns with DeMar and Zach. Like, just looking at the way they play, it makes sense that to be, now I think it was overblown by the media, but a lot of people wouldn't have to construct this team they did. Look at what they did with Javonte Green. They got a player in Javonte Green from the Celtics who at the time looked like a throw-in to that trade to make salaries work. And he's here and Tice is gone. And look at what he's doing to the team. You got to trust this front office.
I trust the front office. Also, towards the end of the fourth or end of the third as well, when Indiana was starting to, actually press on the Bulls, I was thinking in my head, wow. What if the Bulls look at this in the playoffs and the team actually gets in their face? And I remember, wait, we don't have Caruso or Ball. Exactly. So we don't have ball handlers for DeMar and Zach to dish the ball off and actually get it back reliably and create a good shot for somebody or themselves, So I think that matters. I was looking at that thinking wow, people are probably going to say the Bulls, when you get up in their face, they freeze up. But you got to realize we're playing without two of our best ball handlers and best defenders. And we're on a 6-game winning streak, man. What else could you really want?
Absolutely. And this is a comment we get a lot, JB. How did the Bulls beat Giannis? Again, it's not about being great defensive teams. Know that you can't stop a great scorer like a great player like Giannis. You try to disrupt everything around them. And when you look at the way the Bulls are constructed, they can stop just about everything else that the Bucks can do. Again, I want to see the Bucks play. They play the Bulls, of course, and see how it goes, and then we'll ultimately have the answers to this. But let's keep in mind, people think too much about one-on-one. It really doesn't always come down. When you look at how LeBron was often beat in the finals. It was very rare that LeBron was stopped. It was times where people thought that he should still get Finals MVP in a losing a final series because he played out of his mind. But if you're a great defensive team, you can disrupt everything else that goes around that team, and that's how you beat the team. What do you think about that, Christian?
Hey, JB, if you're a Bulls fan, then you watch those 2 Bulls games where they played the Nets. If you're not and you didn't, then you would have seen that the Bulls basically gave KD whatever he wanted. But James Harden was 9 for 55 or 10 for 56, something like that in the 2 games. That matters. Yeah. I understand, hey, it's the regular season. I get it. But the fact that he went 9 for 55 or 10 for 56, I don't have it in front of me, but it's one of those numbers. The fact that he went that bad in 2 games, that matters. It matters.
Yep. And this is a comment. People have to remember that a lot of this being linked is just reporters making shit up because they want to get headlines. There's been nothing. Again, look at the way AK and Eversley make moves in silence. You got to stop what they've been linked to. Stop falling for the traps of these blogs and everything else. They haven't been linked to anything officially. And even if somebody said they would, you shouldn't believe it. What do you think about that, Christian?
Tony, listen, man. Did you know that the Bulls are going to sign Caruso? I didn't. Casey Johnson didn't, and he covers the Bulls since the 80s and the 90s. Yeah. He didn't know. He himself came out and said, I knew nothing about the Bulls and any of their offseason movements. Caruso, Ball, DeMar, TBJ, Javante, no one knew. These are just boom, boom, boom. You found out when I found out, and that was via a Woj tweet. So anyone saying the Bulls are linked to anything, a lot of teams are linked to something. But again, these are reporters that have to put out pieces that by a certain time. They need content. And what's better content than saying, hey, what do the Bulls need? Take away players they don't need to take away.
Exactly point. Let's see what else we got here.
And as far as the other point, taking away the guards, the guards are the keys to our defense.
And having 2 guards that switch from 1 to 4, and then we've seen Lonzo guard some 5s for sure. Again, it's not anything you want to see him do for long stretches, but having defenders that are that versatile, that is extremely rare. Extremely, extremely rare. So don't forget on that. Don't forget that. All right, let's see what else we got.
He's just a really intelligent, fast basketball man. I really appreciate that.
Bro, let me tell you. I've said this all the time. Let me tell y'all. I don't know. I don't really go in a lot of the only other people's live streams I go in are Flight Sports TV and Juju Knows Hoops, because those are my people. But the conversations that we have here, listen, my viewers are some of the we get an occasional troll or whatever, but they own it, bro. That's why I love talking to them, because they own it.
I can tell, because these people watch the games. They're asking me questions I think about myself, and I'm like, yo, these people watch as many games as I do. I love the conversation.
Yep. That's why this is number 1 stop for Bulls fans. I would love the Bulls to get Sabonis or Miles Turner. So I broke this down. I have a whole video on it, and we kind of just talked about it already. Not to skip your comment, Justin, but really, with the time, I try not to go over anything we went over in depth. And me and Christian really kind of broke those 2 down already. So we're not going to go into that. Let's see. Casey Johnson was dope during play-by-play to start the game. Great job. This is the most athletic team in 30 years. Real talk. I absolutely love it. Makes them so much fun to watch. Agree with you on the fun. Christian, we haven't talked a lot about that. What did you think about Casey Johnson on play-by-play today? So
I thought he did pretty good. People were saying it sounded like a radio call, and then it did at first, because I know he's done some college radio. Mm-hmm. He's done I think he did some NAIA as far as what exactly college it was back in the day. I don't know how I know that, but it sounded like that. But then, he got more comfortable. He pulled his mask down, and he was actually pretty good at it. And I'm going to go back and listen to it, because Casey Johnson might actually be a pretty good play-by-play. It sounded pretty good to me. He's never done it before as far as in the NBA, and college is so different from, even NAIA. It's different than the professional league, Yeah. But to hear Casey Johnson the way he did it, there was a lot of people slandering him. And I'm just thinking, like, bro, I would love to see you do that. I would love to see you in a stadium full of 20,000 people. Hey, here's a mic. Call the game.
Hey, man, Casey Johnson was good. And good in the sense that this is not the role that he even expected to do. Seeing Casey develop and maybe eventually become a play-by, I would love to see it. And again, he's somebody who's been in this organization and covering this team for so long. I would love to see that be like his ultimate destination. A 3-man commentary team with Stacy, Amin, and Casey Johnson. Sign me the fuck up for that, bro. Sign me the hell up for that.
Yes. Casey Johnson is one of the best Bulls podcasts as far as like guys that, cover on a major scale.
Yeah.
Because he talks like he's talking to fans. It's like he's talking directly to us. And I love it. Because we don't get to really hear him talk. He's a writer. But hearing him on his podcast, man, he's so intelligent. He has a career in play-by-play. He has so much knowledge of just Bulls basketball. Like, it's insane.
For sure. Let's see. You can't play Zoe, Io, Kobe, Zach, and Javonte. I think we've seen that happen. So what do you mean we can't do it? And people forget. It's funny how people keep saying that the Bulls need, right? But yet we're 22-10. like people forget that, right? Like we've seen Zoe, Io, Kobe, and Zach actually all out there at the same time. So no, you can play them together. And again, nobody's saying that that's the ideal lineup, but let's keep in mind, it has happened, and the Bulls have been successful in that. Christian, what do you think? Christian? Uh-oh. I think we may have lost Christian, y'all. We'll work on it when he comes. All right, as far as Casey Johnson was tough on the ears, I actually put in our Discord that the commentary was hard. That was before Amin came back. I really do think Casey was uncomfortable. When you can tell him when he got into the natural conversations with Amin, it did feel a little bit more better. Like I'm not saying that he's perfect right now, but I'm saying with time, I can see that. I can see that. Like he was completely out of his element, and he did pretty well. It's just me, or did that one leg shot remind anyone of MJ? That was a really good shot. That was a really, really good shot. Let's see what's going on with Christian. Oh, is Christian back? Christian, you good? You back? I can't hear you for talking, Christian. So just keep talking, and then I'll let you know when I can hear you. But I can't hear you right now. Jonathan Washington Jr. I mean, Casey to do play-by-play on short notice and with no experience, you can't really expect much. He did a solid job. Exactly.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go.
Yep. All right. Do you think Lonzo is the Bulls point guard of yes? Yes. Yeah, I mean, yes, literally, he is the point guard of the future for the Bulls. I know some people think or have said, oh, well, I see Io becoming the starting point guard. And Io, I'm not saying that can happen. We'll see what happens at the end of Lonzo's career. But I think because Lonzo and Zach's primes overlap so well in their skill sets and their deficiencies and positives overlap and they cover each other so well, I think they'd be crazy. And it's way too early to be talking about that. But I think Lonzo is easily going to be here throughout the rest of his prime. What do you think about that, Christian?
The main reason why I can say for sure, and I have no knowledge of anything, but I can tell you for sure, the reason why Lonzo is going to be the point guard of the future, we don't need a point guard that's a scorer. We've been needing a point guard that can initiate the offense, play defense at a high level, and that's exactly what he does. He plays his role pretty well, honestly.
For sure.
And considering what he does on defense, man, and just his, instincts with the basketball in his hands, even without it. You see the way he moves out the basketball in his hands, man, it's great on defense and on offense. He's the point guard of the future, no doubt.
For sure. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm so happy we got AK and Mark. Been a struggle for sure. Trusting the process. Nicest we've looked in a while, for sure. I mean, that's clear. Christian?
I think that, the reason why we say that, it's been so long since we've had a capable front office that was actually capable of making real moves. And just looking like an NBA front office. So many stories. If you remember last season, Zach was always upset on the sidelines, pouting, like, literally, he didn't make the All-Star game, and he went on First Take and flirted the idea of possibly being a Laker. and Bulls fans lost it. And I'm saying to them, why not? I think he should say that. He's on a team with a front office that refused to build around him and give him what he needed to win. Ack and Mark, man, like a godsend. A godsend. Thank you to Jerry Reinsdorf for finally allowing Michael Reinsdorf to do his job.
Well, keep in mind too, it took Paxson to admit and say, "Hey, maybe I lost." Like, I still don't think it was up to the Reinsdorf. If they had it, Paxson would still be the president of basketball operations here. It took for Paxson to realize, man, I'm fucking up, for them to really finally start making a move.
Exactly. And Jerry was best friends with Garpax, both of them. So he was never going to fire them. But it got to a point to where it's like, hey, Bulls fans are actually not showing up. You remember all those years that we were bad, we were still top 2, top 3 in attendance. Yep. Sometimes first for like that entire decade, even when we were bad. So in 2018, 2017, when we actually started getting like, it looks bad, what are we going to do? Boom. They're gone. And I love the way it happened. Boylan found out via Twitter.
Which fuck him. His Muppet face ass deserved in fact, he should have showed up with his keys and the lock should have been changed, and that's how he was informed that he was fired. He stunted so many players gross here. He was just a bastard, man. Really, he was just a bastard, bro.
I really do believe he broke Laurie marketing. I really do believe that.
Hey, I do not fight against that thought at all, bro. And don't get me wrong, there's some other things too, but Boylan even Zach was he stunted so many players' growth. Boylan is just an idiot, man. I'm so glad he's not in this franchise anymore. And hats off to him and whatever he does. He was a solid assistant. From what everything was told is that players loved him when he was an assistant coach. When he became the coach, I don't know if it's just the power went to his head or whatever else. Some people just aren't meant to be the number one guy. And Boylan should not be a head coach, at least not from what we saw while he was here.
Now that he's gone, I'm glad that people can finally agree that the saying winning cures all can finally be applied to the Bulls and Zach. I haven't heard mass media say, oh, maybe he's actually the Bulls. Maybe they're not going to be able to keep him. Maybe he's leaving. And it's funny. Nobody's talking about the chances Zach LaVine may be leaving. No. Now, hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us in their ass, but that narrative is basically all gone. It's all gone. It's gone. Bro, we're first in the East. I heard you. Yeah, we own a tiebreaker. We're first in the East, bro. We're first in the East. Kyrie comes back, Listen, Kyrie can't play home games. So, listen, the sky is the limit, man. I have never been this happy watching the Bulls. It's been a very long time. A long time, man.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the next one. Jonathan Simmons, shout out to your growth, bro. Been a fan since the algorithms brought me here. Was back on the summertime. More growth next year. But thank you, man. The fact that we passed, Christian, I don't know if you saw it or not. We passed 3,000 subscribers today. And
that's dope. Congratulations, man.
5 months in, bro. Only 5 months in. And I set the goal in my first year to hit 2,500 subscribers. That would have been a success. So to pass that so far, man, with this channel and this community that we're building listen, I'm humbled, bro. I'm humbled every time, bro. And people, it'd be surprised to know, and I know people say this, so I don't really boast about this or anything. I don't even check. I do not check numbers. I don't check view numbers. I don't check anything. I look at, of course, I see it when I log in, but I'm not one of those people who post a video and then I'm going back every 30 minutes to see how many people watch it. I respond to comments. How people interact with me in the comments tells me how people feel about this channel. I don't have to obsess over numbers or anything like that, but the fact that we got here this soon is bananas to me, man. Bananas.
That's what's up to you, man. For real. Congrats on the growth and more to you in the new year.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. All right, let's see. Trying to catch up. This is a good perspective on this from Goodwin. Hey, do you think Kobe's late success might be that he's not looking over his back when coming to his minutes? I don't necessarily. The Bulls have given Kobe consistent minutes since he's come back, outside of those first couple of games when he was on a restriction. But I honestly think in the second game when he was still on a restriction, he was supposed to be on a 15-minute restriction. He played 20 minutes, and the Bulls haven't looked back. I think what you're seeing is, to Christian's point earlier, is that he wasn't able to practice in the offseason. He wasn't able to train in the offseason. He literally was completely out of basketball for 6 months. So when you think about that, I think this is just it was him revving up, and then he had COVID. So like, it's just the natural progression of a. We're really seeing Kobe just now make it. Again, this is only his 15th game back. We're seeing him just have his offseason and his preseason, and we're just seeing that. And hopefully it's sustained. What do you think about that, Christian?
I think that's a really perfect point. This is he had his preseason, and now he's in the regular season, and now he's finally catching up. It takes a while for people to get their legs back in the NBA. Like, you can only simulate NBA action in practice so much until you get the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say here, I wasn't the biggest Kobe White fan. I'm probably still not. But what we're asking, or at least what Billy's asking him to do, is hit the touches you're hitting. And honestly, he's a bench scoring threat. They're not asking him to initiate offense, which is what he struggled with so much last season.
Mm-hmm.
He had so much to do on his plate. And as a young player in his second year, like, that was a lot, man. That was a lot. And sometimes you got to look back and realize, that was a lot on his plate. Maybe some people shouldn't have been so hard on him, me included. But this year, I just think it's great that he has a coach and not telling him to stop doing it what he's best at, which is hitting the mid range. You remember when
Boylen's dumb ass. Like, how you gonna tell somebody to stop hitting? Like, imagine DeMar being on the team if Boylen was the coach. He would be unplayable. He would be unplayable. Boylen would be losing his shit if he was taking this many mid range shots. Oh, we lost Christian again. We lost Christian. AB the hero. Can Lonzo be an all-star on this Bulls team, or is his role too limited? Again, I don't think this season. And keep in mind, Lonzo is playing. I've always said that the reason Lonzo is being limited is that they trust him to be able to work on the perimeter more than they do DeMar. And of course, DeMar is playing out of his mind. But his role is growing. And I think also when you look at everything else that he does, Lonzo's absolutely going to be an all-star. He's going to be an all-star while he's a Bull. I definitely trust that, and I don't think that necessarily the way that he's playing is going to be the way that it is his whole career here. Casey, in this big difference, watching our guys play without Zone Caruso, our scrappy, as my wife calls him. You can see we try so much harder just getting over screens. The personality of this team is shy. It definitely is the Chicago. It definitely is that. Christian, you here? All right. Every time Christian joins back, you can't hear him for a second. So we'll see what's going on there. Jack is the truth. Casey was doing the play-by-play instead of ad-libs. No biggie. For sure. Christian, I just heard you moving around there for a second. All right, we'll see. Again, this narrative I don't get with. Kobe is such a good piece for any team. I don't see he fits our team. When you have a team that's been at the bottom of the league in bench scoring, he fits the team. And again, even in what he offers, you don't trade that for a decent backup power forward or center. You can get that in other means. So no, I don't fall with that narrative. I don't fall with that narrative. Let's see what else we got. All right, let's stop this narrative. We talked about this too. He was not salty. LaVine was down on himself for how he played. He was down on himself because they almost lost that game because he played like shit. He wasn't salty that he didn't get the game winner. Y'all got to grow up. Y'all got to grow up with that bullshit. Y'all got to grow up. Larry broke himself. Jesus. Okay. I mean, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. So glad Boylen is gone. Yeah, get that Muppet face bastard up out of here. Juju knows hoops is in the building. Yes, sir. Let's go 6 straight. Absolutely. We're going to keep going. Jose Ortiz. What's taking Zach? So he can't. Again, if Zach would have signed an extension last season, he wouldn't have got as much money as he can get. Financially, he makes more season to sign in this offseason. They've passed the time where he can sign an extension during the season anyway. So that's what's taking so long. I mean, that's been widely reported. The Bulls, instead of re-signing Zach LaVine and with Zach's blessing, went ahead and improved the team around him. That's what they should have done. Christian, you here?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
All right, yeah. There you go, bro. There you go. All right, let's go on. Let's see. Troy Bly. This is my first show. I'm glad I found this channel, bro. See Red out. Well, Charlie, glad to have you, man. Welcome to a Bulls Central podcast. It's great seeing Zach engaged and happy. Those spurts where he was clearly frustrated during times out and checked out. This has been a fun season. Absolutely.
It's been a great season. I'm just glad to see him smiling again.
Absolutely.
I don't think I saw any teeth last season.
Absolutely. That's funny. That's funny. All right, Shy Guy says, I bet anything Kobe gets traded before the deadline. I'm willing to take that bet. What's the wager? What's the wager? Let's see. Juju knows hoops in the building. Kobe proved me wrong that this is good. Let him build up that trade value. I hate that people go right to that narrative. I understand it. That's why I say I can't wait to after the trade deadline, not just because of to see who the Bulls or what they do. I'm saying that I can't wait just so people can pick a different narrative and actually and not Juju, but these casual fans we'll see who's actually a Bulls fan who actually was just here to have trade conversations. Shay, remember Nikola Vucevic had his career high against Daniel Gafford and Montrezl Harrell. It's too small. Some food for thought for tomorrow's game. What do you think about that, Chris? You think Vuce is going to have a big game next season?
I mean, listen, man, I think Vuce is possible because we've been going to him early and often start games. And if that's the case, hey, I'll take 25 and 15 any day. He already gave us like 4 straight games of 15 to 15.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, this is a good point, Brandon. Anyone else peep how happy Vooch was when DeMar made that shot? I thought him and Kobe White was going to tackle him into the stands. Listen, I got to go back and watch. I was so excited. I don't know if you guys noticed, like usually it takes me about 10 or 15 minutes after a game to get this live stream going. I think I was on 2.5 minutes after, like literally after I got done screaming to the top of my lungs. I was down here on this live stream, man. Yeah, we had a comment here I want to go to. We should be talking about the national media not giving. No, fuck the national media. We don't need it. Everything that can give this team a chip on their shoulder, that's what we need. I don't give a fuck about the national media. That's why platforms like mine exist. That's why Windy City Breeze exists. That's why, because fuck the national media. The national media picks a narrative and then keeps that narrative until the next season, damn near sometimes. Fuck the national media. We don't need their dumbasses to acknowledge how good the Bulls are because guess what? It makes it that much sweeter that we keep winning without it. Christian, what do you think?
I love that the national media doesn't talk about us. You know why? Less idiots to have to go back to.
Hey, I already told you, I got content. I got everything planned. I got every damn near analyst who says something bad about the Bulls and their moves in the offseason. And even when the Bulls, because we started the season off, 3-0 or 4-0, and they still were like, oh, just wait, they're going to come back down to earth. That y'all be on the lookout for Petty Roosevelt's video during the All-Star break. It's not Haize, it's Petty Roosevelt. I'm getting in people's ass. Oh, that doesn't hold up. Y'all know what I mean. I'm leaving it at that. Christian. Oh man. See, this is people. Trading Kobe White would be a big mistake. You need a guy like that and spark off exactly. Look at Tyler Hero. Look at Roddy Brubar. Look at who else? The Mavericks had another person in one of their runs where they played great. Like, you need a spark plug off the bench. Again, the Bulls ranging between 25th to 29th in bench scoring. It's not going to cut it in the playoffs. No team has made a significant run in the playoffs with a bench scoring ranked that low amongst their peers. It just hasn't happened.
That's a great stat. That's a really great stat.
I'm just every time somebody says something about, oh, we have to trade Kobe White, I go and I've presented this in so many live streams, nobody has come back. You find me a team that made a significant run in the playoffs that's bench scoring in the regular season was ranked between 25th and 30. If you find me that, I'll stop that narrative. I presented this challenge like 15 times at this point. Nobody's been able to give me the stat because guess what? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You need bench scoring. Now, if you can present a trade, everybody's so focused on this big man that we're still 22-10 without having a big man. But I get we do need to figure something out there by the playoffs. But that being said, all right, you plug a hole and you create another one because then that bench scoring is not going to cut it in the playoffs. So then what are you going to do? So yeah, that's why I always present that, and nobody has been able to counter it yet.
Subtraction by subtraction.
hey, that's what happens. Oh, this is a big one. I'm not willing to go here, but Kobe White is the next Tyler Hero. Listen, if he develops into Tyler Hero, then Bulls are probably going to have to trade him because they're not going to pay him that much money. They can't, considering Zach's extension, DeMar and Zoe. Well, I guess they could, depending on what they do with Vooch. It depends, but That's a large order. What do you think about that statement, Christian?
I think that's a lofty goal. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Tyler Hero, Tyler Hero is pretty good, and Tyler Hero's clip is a little bit more, consistent. That's a great, pedigree to mold after. But I don't need 20 from Kobe White. Miami needs 20 from Tyler Hero. It's a
Yeah.
difference in as far as the quantity. But hey, like you said earlier, from your mouth to God's ears.
Hey, that's the phrase here. Shay, if the Sacramento Kings and the Portland Trailblazers keep doing bad, I know for a fact Harrison Barnes and Robert Covington may get bought out. Okay, so you said fact and then you say may. Shay's one of my biggest supporters here. So Christian, I'm not being mean to people. I promise you. It's just certain people who I have a relationship with that I can throw some shit at. So don't think I'm like flaming my subscribers. We have that relationship. But listen, I've said before, if Harrison Barnes gets bought out, the Bulls not only should be the first team to call him, they need to send Mark Eversley to his house and get him on a plane and bring him to Chicago and have him sign the contract on the plane on the way over. That's what I feel. What do you think, Christian?
I think he's a perfect fit. Literally a perfect fit. So honestly, it doesn't even matter where he or DeMar starts at because they're really interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
And you can play Harrison Barnes and DeMar at the same time. You can play Harrison Barnes and Zach, and you got another guy out there that can give you 15 to 17 good shot, can create for himself. And he's an underrated passer. Harrison Barnes is a pretty good passer.
Again, and I love when people make up narratives. Hey, Kobe has not done anything. Matter of fact, I had a video that I didn't post the other day. Kobe is not looking for a bigger or better role. Kobe's looking to get minutes, which he is getting, and nobody said anything about Kobe looking to get paid because Kobe knows he hasn't played well. And like, come on, man, y'all just be making shit up to get to fit what y'all want to do, man. That's why I don't do trade talk, man. People be tripping. People really be tripping, bro. Have you heard? Maybe Christian, correct me if I'm wrong. Have you heard anything as much as we cover the Bulls about Kobe looking to get paid?
Listen, man, I haven't heard that theory from anybody, and that's like it's kind of the same. Actually, it's the exact opposite scenario. Larry played terribly and swore he was entitled to the bag, and I'm pretty sure Kobe White knows that the injury, and he needs another couple years to prove that he can do it consistently, at least this season and next season, to show that I'm that guy for you. I think that's the case. But as far as getting paid, man, like he's still under contract for next season. And I think it's like actually I've got it right here. 7.4 million next season, 5.8 this season.
And keep in mind, the Bulls have matching ability that they don't have with IO. They can match any deal Kobe gets, no matter if it's over the luxury tax or not. So
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the team option.
Exactly. Let's see. There's something I wanted to go back to. All right. This is from, first of all, Butter Lotus. That's your use. That you got username of the night. I try to give username of the night when I remember it. You get username of the night. It's amazing how we got Zoe to start, and when Kobe comes in, he's giving you the same hustle and production, and now kind of all right. Listen, I'm a big Kobe White fan as anyone. He's not giving anything close to the same defense. Like, Kobe's improved on defense. He's improved a lot on defense for him. I've always said, like, Kobe's progression on where he started at on defense is very similar to how bad Zach LaVine was early in defense. But Kobe, even in his improvement, is not giving you anywhere close to Lonzo Ball's production on defense. Let's just be clear with that. That's not happening. Christian, am I tripping? Or am I tripping on this one? Kobe White giving the same, even kind of the same production as Lonzo Ball on defense?
Actually, I think it's possible. I mean, I've seen so many plays where he's actually in the paint or in transition, slipping through screens and, actually fighting over screens and doing all the little things that he wasn't doing the past couple of years. I think it's possible. Listen, man, defense is, infectious. And Lonzo and Caruso, what I've noticed, Billy keeps one of them on the floor usually at all times.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference because Caruso technically could be a starting NBA point guard.
Absolutely. Like, yeah. And that's the thing with, like, if it's funny that we got Alex to come here to be the man, because I'm sure. Well, let me not say I'm sure, but there are probably teams that would have considered Caruso being their starting point guard for sure.
No, for real. And the fact that the people say, "Oh, well, the Lakers, they didn't keep him." Well, the Lakers, you got to remember, they couldn't afford him.
For sure. All right, Christian. So I know you got to head out here in a second, man. Before you go, I want you to give time to shout out your Bulls stuff that you do, the content that you create, man. Tell them where they can follow you, and then I'll go ahead and let you go, bro. I'm probably gonna stay in for about another 30 minutes myself, but go ahead and plug all your stuff so people can follow you and support you.
Listen, man, I appreciate you having me on. You are a dedicated Bulls fan. I've seen your tweets on Twitter. We've been in spaces before. It's good to get it on wax. This is a great conversation. Shout out to the room. Shout out to everybody that's, just mentioned in and joined and, just spent a little bit of their New Year's Eve with us talking about Bulls basketball, man. Like, what else could you want? First in the East. Then again, thank you for having me on. You guys can find me on Twitter at Snacks for Tweets. No, that sounds funny. Snacks for tweets, like the number 4 tweets. I'm do Madhouse on Madison, where we have a podcast. We do spaces after the game and sometimes before games, talking Bulls basketball. You can find me on Who Spaces as well. That's at Who Spaces on Twitter. It's always a good day to talk about basketball, man.
Absolutely. Well, Christian, thank you for joining me, man. I have to have you back on, bro. Thank you so much, man. Have a good rest of your evening and Happy New Year.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on. We're going to talk soon, all right?
All right, bro. All right. Christian is gone, so let's go. I can let Petty Roosevelt out now. No, let's go to Jacket's Truth here. How does the buyout work? Can we get Barnes without giving? So if a player is bought out, there's two things that happen. You can claim them on waivers, which I think, and somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. I think if you claim a player while they're on waivers, you basically just pick up the remaining part of their contract. You're basically taking over that contract. If you wait till they're clear waivers, then you basically can sign them for a minimum veterans minimum deal for the rest of the season. That's how waivers work. I believe if anybody else can correct me on the buyout, I think that's how it works. A buyout and waivers are different, right? It's complicated, but yes, in a buyout, it's not a trade, so we don't have to give up anybody. Now we have to open up a roster spot, which means cutting somebody like a Matt Thomas or McKinney, somebody who doesn't have a guaranteed deal, but that's how it works. You don't have to give up anybody on the case of a buyout. All right, let's see what else we got. Defense is not always about production. For a player like Kobe, it's about being in the right place. Absolutely. And Kobe being heads up, getting his hands on more. Kobe is probably, and again, this may be exaggeration, but it feels like Kobe has had more blocks than the rest of his career in the last 4 games. He's like, Kobe's playing up, and most of defense honestly is about staying up. Is about being aware, keeping your head up, watching what the other team's doing. The on-ball defense is a different aspect of it. Kobe is excelling he's improving in both areas for sure. Kobe ain't nowhere near Zoe as a defensive player, but he's okay. He doesn't need to be. I just give effort like everybody. Exactly. And keep in mind, the team defense. He's playing very well in that. Tomorrow win, and we end in 2021 on the good. Oh, this is the end of 2021 now. So definitely. Being on a string, that's what separates the elite defenders is blocks and steals. And we all know Kobe ain't elite on D. Well, steals don't make it a player elite on D. There are some players that have gotten steals, right? But they're terrible there's a lot of different aspects to defense. It's off-ball defense, it's on-ball defense, it's things like blocks, things like steals, things like deflections, which art track like that, things like altering shots without actually blocking shots. There's a lot of different aspects of defense for sure. Kobe been watching IO on defense with the blocks. Listen, hey, Kobe keeps playing defense like this. How do you feel about Dwight? I can't stand Dwight Howard. That's a personal thing. That is 100% immediately a personal thing. My thing is I've always said the Bulls need to get somebody who can hit open shots. It includes threes. We're not trusting Dwight to do that, but if that's who they end up bringing in, that's who they end up bringing in. Shay, I've been on the Derek Favors bandwagon, but if we get a guy like Derek Favors or Tristan Thompson, I know for a fact Tony Bradley is gone because he plays the same way they do and not as effective. That's for sure. I definitely believe that this new Bulls team has energized everyone. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Love the channel, bro. Thank you, Railroad Ross 2012. Thank you. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining us. Hope you hit that subscribe button and you saw enough that was going to make you stay. How come you aren't Petty Pendergrass? Petty? No, because that's too many P's. Petty Roosevelt. That's Petty Roosevelt is like, I'm no. The Pendergrass thing is no. That's not it. Final thoughts on tomorrow. I could give my final thoughts on tomorrow before we get to tomorrow. And I got to drop a video to stop stepping on my content, brother. No, but it's going to be interesting tomorrow. It's definitely going to be interesting. Tory Craig. I'm good on that one. I don't think he gives us the size or the shot blocking that we can look for. I sometimes wonder what both the Lakers and Bulls would have looked like if Caruso stayed with the Lakers and DeMar DeRozan ended up with the Lakers. Listen, the Bulls will still, I think, no. Well, yeah, if the Bulls didn't get DeMar, I'm willing to bet they still would have been towards the bottom of the playoff. Still think they would have fought for a playoff spot because, again, then we would have gotten to see more of offensive Lonzo and more playmaking and actual running the offense through Lonzo. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. But I still think the Bulls, with their development, coaching, everything like that, still think we would have been a heck of a team. Not this good, but still been a heck of a team. So Tokyo, I've talked about this. No, I don't think he was upset at all. Don't think that was. I think he was upset with his performance today and the fact that it had to come down to that. But I don't think he was upset that he didn't get the last shot. Already said it. Only cash, no credit. The Bulls. I'm ready to say the Bulls are a championship contender. Again, not a favorite, but a contender. Absolutely. Massman, yes, the Bulls definitely have a chance to make the finals. Shay, Vooch has to go out tomorrow. Go out where? To eat? For his laundry? No, I think you mean go all out. Yeah, he has to ball tomorrow. Definitely. Shout out to the Lakers for being the biggest bums and making it possible for us to get Lonzo, Caruso, and DeMar, since DeMar wanted to go to LA, but they wouldn't pay him. Hey, man, they decided to hitch their wagon to Russell. Keep in mind, for what they're paying Russell, they could have had Caruso and DeMar. So they could have basically had just about everything else with this team financially, but add DeMar and Caruso there. Man, listen, that changes so much for them. But fuck them. Wake me up next year after the buyout market is done. I'm sick of who we're getting every 7. So I'm answering that more so than anything because we had a guest. So now that that's done, I'm really going to stop with the trade talk. But yeah. Who's Mr. Engineer? Did I miss something? Oh, why would you do that? Oh, let's go. You guys know I love my overseas because since I lived overseas for so long. This is from Dark Wolf. Hello from Portugal. Hey, stop. Sorry, my dog was doing stupid shit. Hello from Portugal. You think that the Bulls can win the conference finals against the Nets or the Bucks? Definitely the Nets. I said this before. The Nets do not put any fear in my heart, even with Kyrie there. No fear. Again, I'm not saying that the Bulls should be favored over them. I'm not saying it's not going to be a tough series, but they don't put any fear in my heart. The Bucks, I'm going to hold that until we finally play the Bucks. I want to see us play the Bucks before I because I like to actually evaluate the basketball that's played. I trust the Bulls to play with anyone in this league. I trust the Bulls to play with anyone in this league. But to give you a more honest and detailed answer, I have to see the basketball played first. Kayak boys. Cornrow Kobe, last 10 seconds, I was like, come on, man. Coach, call a timeout, bro. What are you doing? DeMar said, oh, listen, you just walked through my whole process. Like when the Bulls got the ball, right, and they started bringing it up the court, I was like, DeMar is just going to put his head down. He's either going to get to the free throw line or he's going to get this mid-range shot. As the clocks, I was watching with my son who came on here earlier, my 8-year-old son, as the seconds started ticking down, when it got to the 2-second mark, it was probably literally right before he took the shot. I literally said, fuck. Like I was panicking, bro. I was sweating. Then when he started moving, I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to try to draw the foul. And when he shot that ball, before I could process that he shot it, the ball went in. Before my brain processed that DeMar DeRozan took a one-legged 3-point shot, the ball was in. And I just went crazy. Me and my son screamed. Like I'm sure like my neighbors heard everything. Let's see. Stay Gold Bang. He said, sorry that he's late. That was pretty ugly. Listen, it was an absolutely ugly game, but we pulled it out. That's what matters. That's what matters. Deadman, Christian talked about Deadman a little bit earlier. I'm not against the Deadman idea. Exactly. Let the Bulls play the champs before we talk about trade. Yeah, I want to see how we match up against them. I really do want to see that. Listen, like I said, I couldn't even process the fact that he shot it. I wish I could say, I was like, no, don't shoot it. My brain literally, between seeing it was 2 seconds on the clock and wondering what DeMar was going to do to the ball going in the net. Like, I guess maybe in my worry, I blacked out because literally I don't remember my brain processing anything between DeMar starting to dribble and the shot going in the net. Not just the shot going up, it being in the net. And then everything kind of processed after the fact. So it is what it is. JDH, Cognac Boys got a good channel. Yes, shout out to the Cognac Boys. Make sure you guys go and listen to them. Their dynamic is dope, but they are great Bulls content creators if you're a Bulls fan. Great content creators. That's exactly how it was. I was pissed we didn't call a timeout for sure. I talked about this earlier in the game, Dark Wolf. We don't get in this game if Kobe didn't have the game that he was. DeMar won it technically on the shot, but Kobe is basically what got us to a position of being even able to win this game. If Kobe didn't have the game that he did, it's damn near a blowout. Like, for real. If all things being the same, if Kobe did not shoot the ball well, this game is damn near a blowout, not in the Bulls' favor. When the ball went in, I couldn't walk. I screamed as loud, and I got as high because of the adrenaline. Yep, for sure. Toby Hill. Loving your content so far. First time watcher. Have invested much time in the Bulls since D-Rose. Loving this C-Red. Well, Toby, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Go and check my pre-records. The live streams I try to do when I can after games. You don't always get live streams from us after games, but when we do, it's always enjoyable. It's always fun. My pre-records are a different thing for sure. Ooh, that's a great comparison. Flashbacks to Damian Lillard on their final shot. Yeah, when he beat the Rockets with a shot like that, absolutely. Tony, the Lone Rider Smith, saying, bro, I don't know if I was sitting down or standing up, but I celebrated like crazy. Hey, man, me and my son went off. Like, he's over here now. You guys may hear him. He's over here playing on his tablet. But yeah, it was crazy. Vuk has been dominating the last 5 games or so. He didn't play not as good as he has been playing this game. He was 6 for 16, 2 for 7 from 3, only 14 points, but 16 rebounds, 4 assists, no turnovers, no blocks, no steals from him this game. But Vooch has been playing very well. And again, this was a down game overall. Even though DeMar scored 28 points, DeMar didn't play the best. 8 for 24 shots to get 28 points is not the best either. His free throws really saved him, 11 for 12 from free throw. But this wasn't a game that we've seen from this team. But yeah, overall, Vooch has been playing very good. We haven't played the Bucks yet. Yeah, we didn't beat the Warriors or Phoenix, but yeah, we've played a lot. We've played, and the Nets. People keep bringing up the Nets, but we played them so good. We all just need to sit back and enjoy the ride. Acme got. You know what? You're absolutely fucking right. Absolutely right. This is so much better than talking about my. Oh my God, my Bears. I'm starting a Bears channel next season. Pray for me. I lost my voice yelling. Yep, for sure. We then built an elite culture here. Yep, for sure. Is the wall behind you a Bulls? No, I actually have another podcast. So I have a podcast where I talk about Black culture, mental health, activism, and I've been doing that podcast for 4 years. I built this studio. Then my favorite colors are red and black. So no, it wasn't meant to be a Bulls theme. I started this Bulls podcast 5 months ago, and it just happens that my favorite colors are red and blue. But like, if you watch my pre-recorded videos, I do it on the other side of the studio. But yeah, so yeah. The Phoenix matchup is going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting. And I can't wait to see that because and Phoenix is playing great, right? And I'm not saying that the Bulls should be favored or anything, but I like us at full strength. I like how our defense matches up against Phoenix. I'm not gonna lie. Why bring up the Bears? Listen, so I've said this, and people bring this up in my channel a lot because my Bears fandom is just as high as my Bulls fandom, but the Bears haven't won a Super Bowl since the year I was born. And then we made it to the Super Bowl once. Listen, I'm a super huge Bears fan. I could talk Bears all day. Like, honestly, I can just talk Bears all day. But having to break down their games is going to turn my whole beard is going to be gray my first year into my Bears channel. Watch it. We got one more game this season with Philly. We need to blow them out. I don't think we need to blow them out. Because keep in mind, even those 2 games we lost against Philly, we were close in the second half of the game. I just want to see us be successful. I don't need to see us blow them out, but I want to see us be successful. Remember, we didn't have Nikola Vucevic when we played against the Warriors. Keep that in mind. Yeah, for sure. Oh, wow, you're really doing your shit with the podcast. That's what's up. Thank you, Anthony Travis. I appreciate that, bro. Not a Bears channel, but if we get the right coach, I think we'll be in good shape, but don't want to talk about them right now. LOL, they make me so mad. Listen, bro. Listen, man. Listen. Shh. Funny Bulls fans say we fall in love with guys too soon, yet say trade Kobe because Io is great. And that is a very good point. Ronald Slater, been here since 300 subs. The culture and community that has grown here is crazy. Thank you. That you're part of that. It doesn't grow because of me. I'm a nobody, right? I could see if I had like some insider information. All we do is have great conversations here. And because of that, you guys are as big a part of this channel's success as I am. And I mean that. That's not just hyperbole. That's me, not just me trying to sound good. This channel is as successful as it is because of you guys as much as because of me. That's just period. I hate recording with headphones on, so it is what it is. What do you think of Matt Thomas in this game? I thought he was very good, especially. Yeah, Matt Thomas is solid. He plays the veteran role very well. That's a veteran that you can come in, trust to play within the system, make smart decisions, play good defense. He does that very well. Blah. I think the Bulls are deeper than Phoenix. I agree with you. Chicago Bulls show with the Cognac Boys. Tyler Cook is going to replace Tony Bradley. Matt Thomas is going to take Troy Brown Jr. minutes, in my opinion. Keep in mind, we still have McKinney coming back. I think the Bulls are definitely going to give him some minutes when he comes back for quite a while to see if he can, how much he can keep producing for us. Tyler Cook, you guys know, I'm in the bandwagon. Tyler Cook should be our new backup big to me. Remember, we lost 2 close games by the Philadelphia 76ers, and those. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Shay, come on, man. See, Gums McGee got traded. Yep, and he's gonna get waived. He needs to be out of the NBA. Over 3,000 subscribers, bro. Congratulations, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just watched Lonzo's story. He said, "Don't lie, Debo. You know you ain't see the time, boy." I love Lonzo, man. I hate his hip-hop opinions. I hate Lonzo Ball's hip-hop opinions, but I love his personality and the player, man. I think the Bulls match up really well versus Phoenix. It would be an interesting game. Agree with you. Nostalgic. Are you from? No, my dad is from Chicago. My dad is born and raised in Chicago. He joined the military. We lived all over the place, but he's a Chicago native. He's Chicago everything. So I am a huge Bulls, Bears, and White Sox more than Cubs. I still like the Cubs. Now, I lived in St. Louis for a long time. I actually worked at Busch Stadium for a while. So I do have Cardinals fandom. As a matter of fact, me and my dad, we used to, at one point, long time ago, we used to talk shit to each other about the Cardinals and Cubs. But yeah. So, but yeah, that's my fandoms. Those are my fandoms. And also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, unfortunately, even though Pittsburgh is a terrible city. Are we bringing it home this year? From your mouth to God's ears? Let's hope so. We got to embrace rebuilds. Makes being good that much sweeter. Absolutely. We still have to beat Philly, Miami, Memphis, and Milwaukee. No, you can see how good you are, right? Yes, we need to see how we match up against them, but no, we know how good we are. Let's not act like you have to specifically know. We know this Bulls team is legit and it's still getting better. Keep in mind, we are 22-10 with at a time where we have 23-10. Keep saying 22-10 at a time where we are missing 2 of our best defenders. Vooch has not been playing well for a large part of the season. He's just now coming around. So much adversity with the COVID. No, we know what this team's makeup is, and we know that we have a fighting chance against any team. We can beat any team in this league. Keep Cook on the roster. Well, he's going to be on a G League team affiliate, if nothing else. But yes, Cook has so much. His potential is higher than Bradley's, in my opinion. Bulls are going to be just fine. Everybody is awesome on this team for the most part. No, I wouldn't say Troy Brown Jr. is awesome, but it is what it is. What would it take for LaVine's number to be retired by the Bulls? 3 titles at the minimum. Well, let me not say 3 titles at the minimum. Even if LaVine brings 2 titles to Chicago, stays here for the remainder of his career, still continues to break records in Chicago and everything like that, I think he gets his number retired. We'll see. We gotta get Noah done first, though, right? I think the Bulls are going to the NBA Finals. From your mouth to God's ears, my brother. From your mouth to God's ears. Caruso brings the heart fight to the team culture. Yep, he's a Chicago player. That's for damn sure. You mean I'm a big part of the show as you sitting here in my boxers? Yes, absolutely. And I mean that. Like, I know you meant that tongue in cheek, but absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Your beard sure will get gray. I take my BP meds before every Bears game, so this is great. New subscriber for sure. Appreciate you, bro. Exactly, bro. Congrats. Very well deserved. Thank you, Young Baller 24. I appreciate that, man. I'm from Chicago. Well, shout out to you, Tony. Where do you put Caruso in the GOAT debate? I'm just gonna laugh at that. Hey, bro, drop your channel that discusses mental health. I have a perspective from the military side and don't mind sharing. Oh yeah. So if you go to like my channel, I have like where you have the feature channels is in there. I would have to me and you are on Twitter. I'll DM it to you if you don't find it. How the hell you uploaded a video 29 minutes ago? Are you a speeder? What did I upload? Wait, what did I upload 29 minutes ago? I haven't uploaded anything. What are you talking about? What did it say that I uploaded? I haven't uploaded shit other than this live stream. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Man, when Zoe's back, the team is gonna. Well, we're 23-10, man. 23-10. 23-10. God damn it. The Bulls are number 1 team in the East, god damn it. Come on, man. How long has it been since we've been able to say that, man? Come on, man. I'm still salty losing to Houston. Well, we revenged that loss, so that's what it means. That's all that means. Should the Bulls resign Thad this offseason, or should they go younger? I would not mad Thad Young coming back to this team at all. That's definitely need Kyrie now that we're in the first place. Let's see. Caruso brought that chip on the shoulder. Ball brought the team first mentality. DeRozan demands and deserves the respect, and putting that around LaVine and Vooch to shore up the middle. Beautiful mix. Listen, this whole team has chips on their shoulders. Everything you listed about that. But let's not forget, LaVine and Vooch both have gotten that thing of being empty scorers on teams that never won anything. LaVine, how many times is stuff thrown at him that he's never made it to the playoffs? He's never, like, all those things. On top of LaVine, also, people forget too, like, he's never talked about it anymore. Coming back from an ACL injury, major for sure. Jay Reed, we got Key Isaac Epps, who's a member of the chat. He has this thing. We have this thing going where he said the Bulls are going to win 58 games. So I'm going to add you into this. I have a prediction, and I want you to mark this down. Golden State versus Chicago's in the finals. Bulls in 6. Listen, from your mouth to the heavens, because absolutely. Leviant clothing. This is your first time here? Do you see Alfonso playing that P. Will role? I don't know. He's not the defender P. Will is, but Alfonso, again, I've talked about bench scoring. Now, we haven't seen a lot of it, right? And he's played, 4 games or 3 games when he was here. 2 out of those 3 games, he did not score the ball well, and he went off in 1. But if Alfonso can provide, and I didn't talk about him early, some consistent bench scoring, we get that much more dangerous. Probably your halftime hangout. Oh, yeah, it may have been the halftime hangout. Once Caruso gets back, it's about to get real. It's already real. Let's make sure it's already real. It's already real. Let's see. That's Joe B. Absolutely. Keep in mind, this team has played now I still say, even though we've played 32 games this season, less than 30 games together because of how many people we've had in and out the roster, this team can still improve their chemistry so much more. So much more. That's for damn sure. The Bulls doing good without being fully in rhythm and all the players playing to their full potential. Yet I think we will be okay at the end of the season. Multiple winning streak coming. Hey, from your mouth to God's ears, man. I agree with you, though. I agree with you. If LaVine had elite, look, I'll tell you this. It's not even elite defense. The defense LaVine is not in this game. His defense was not good this game. Let's be clear on that. But the defense that LaVine has been playing for the most part this season, I keep saying this. If LaVine keeps learning and stealing moves from DeMar in the mid-range, he's a top 5 player in the NBA with what he does, everything else. Let's see. People may not talk about Ilyasova, but he gave us problems in the play. Again, I think his run here in the Bulls is done. Honestly, I think with everyone coming back healthy, him being gone now for the remainder of his 10-day contract, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back here. Outside of the 4, we are one of the most well-bit teams as far as team fit, for sure. For sure. I think even with those. Yo, Haize, barring injuries off the bench, we have Io, Caruso, White, Green, DJ Day, McKinney, Cook, etc. This is so crazy. Bench mob is back. It definitely could be. It definitely could be. I really do like Cook. I like Cook so much, man. But yeah. It hasn't been as bad this season as far as LaVine's turnovers in the clutch. They've been bad the last few games, and I think maybe that's just because he doesn't have to handle the ball as much. But yeah, that bouncing the ball off the foot thing, some of the times where he hesitates to make it is some turnover issues with Zach there. You got to be honest in evaluation, and that's correct. Do the Bulls put P. Will in the starting lineup for the playoffs? Or listen, it all depends on when he comes back. If P. Will can come back, even I say with 10 to 15 games left in the season, I think that's enough to gear him up to where you can see if you can start him in the playoffs. If he doesn't come back until the playoffs, then no, I don't think the Bulls start him. I don't. Yes, Russell, we actually talked about that earlier. This is over 2-hour stream. Yes, we've talked about it. Okay, getting ready to wrap it up. We are going to go. We've been doing this 2 minutes and 2 hours and 16 minutes. We're going to go 4 more minutes. We're going to get to the 2 hour and 20 mark. So get any other conversations or anything you want to do. The Warriors will clap us in the finals, but that's why we hang on to our young talent. Got a good point. Again, I talk about no team in the East really puts fear in my heart. The Warriors, absolutely, especially the fact they've been playing this good without Clay, man. That's just crazy. The way Patrick Williams shoots his mid-range, I want him to hang out with DeMar this summer, and I think that's the plan. Like, honestly, looking at the way AK and Eversley do things, if you look at it, DeRozan coming here and them giving him 3 years, a 3-year deal, I bet AK and Eversley hope that he's going to be learning, again, building his confidence because he's not going to have to rely on his offense, but also them building blocks, continue adding to his offensive game. I definitely believe that. Lonzo and Caruso spreading the defense emphasis, and Zach and Kobe is huge for our team, for sure. What does your bench look like come close? Well, I think the thing that we're showing is that it really depends on the matchup. It depends on who's playing well. We really have a deep bench that can be used in different scenarios and different play styles. So who knows? JDH, be back tomorrow, bro. Thanks. Absolutely, JDH. We'll see you tomorrow during the live stream. I live in Columbus, Ohio now. Unfortunately, not from here. I've only been here 4 years, but that's where I live right now. We have 4 great scorers with Kobe plus Zoe. We need that. Like today, we need great scorers and shooters so we can play the hot hands and not just stall and lose like in past years, for sure. Allen, stop. Rank Pat, Will, Caruso, and Lonzo in terms of defenders. Lonzo, Caruso, Pat, Will. That's what I'm doing. But again, that's me basically basing it off Pat Will last season. We haven't seen how he's gotten to evolve. Bulls are like Candyman and no team better. Call us out. They're going to get it. Hey, absolutely. D Greatest. Oh wait, I went to the wrong one. D Greatest. I filled in my apology letter for Vooch. Well, good. Have you noticed that Bulls fans are really showing up on the road? The cheers are becoming more audible now that the team is good. The Bulls fans, again, when Bulls are good, we have such a spread out fan base because of the dynasty era that, yeah, for sure. Fun fact, we have Thaddeus Young. We have had Thaddeus Young still. Laurie Marketing had accepted that. No, it was the Spurs. Wait. No, it was the Spurs, not Laurie. I think it was that the Spurs didn't want Laurie. I think that's the way it was reported, Shay. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Hey, CBC, do you think Zach's body language was off because no, we've talked about this. His body language was off because he was disappointed in his performance in a close game and they had to come down to that. Yeah, I got to agree. The Warriors legit put fear in my heart, but I know we're ready for the challenge. Bulls in 6. Oh, Jay Reed, hey, I'm putting it in there with Key Isaac Epps predictory for sure. You seen any all-star voting updates? Nope, because I know it's just going to piss me off. So nope. Co-MVP, Zach and DeMar. I don't know if that's possible. Well, I mean, it's technically possible according to league rules, but I don't know. League ever seen 2 slashers wings work this well? That's a good question. D Greatest, honestly, are we overreacting to the lack of power forward? Green has been excellent. Maybe the chemistry is more important than the size. Well, no, when you see, there are certain times where Green, as much as great as a defender he is and effort he puts in, that sometimes the length is just too much for him. And that's not a knock on him as a player. He's a 6'4" power forward he's been playing, but there is absolutely times where the length does cause some issues for sure. All right, last question for today, y'all. Last question. Go ahead and go. Do you think the Bulls would have still made the front office moves they did if the 2020 All-Star game didn't happen in Chicago and give fans the spotlight to voice their frustration? No. Again, Acme and AK and Eversley, they were going to always have their eyes on improving the team. Always. They always said that season was always to evaluate the young talent. When they started making all the moves to trade all the young players, that was because they looked at it and they said, this is shit. So no, it was always going to happen. No, Shay is right. That's why we traded Thad, because Laurie wanted more money. It's irrelevant. Oh, okay. Well, again, I'm not always right. Not always right. So I told you, bro, Kobe, our second best player last year. Kobe, what does last year have to do with now? Last year have to do it now. All right, ended it on this. Bulls winning 10 in a row from your mouth to God's ears, my brother. This has been another stream from Chicago Bull Central. I love you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We can be followed at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. I will be playing a lot of voicemails tomorrow, so if you want to get voicemails in, do so. If you want to get those emails in, it's bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And then our voicemail, if you want to leave us a voicemail or a text, it's 773-270-2799. We've gotten like 2 or 3 voicemails since I've been on this stream. So if you want to get a voicemail to play on tomorrow's show, make sure you send that in. Otherwise, I will be here tomorrow after the game. Not sure about a halftime hangout. We'll see, but I'll definitely be on the stream afterwards. Like I like to end everything that I do on this channel. I love you guys. Go Bulls.